Hello, welcome to the Fanfic Majesty. If you want more content, you can follow me on Patreon. I will be uploading more content on there that will be exclusive. The link is in the description. Please support me. 9 SWTF Chapter 201 Previous Chapter Next Chapter Advertisement. Hanxing, however, ignores Madara's thoughts, wins with one blow, and pursues with victory. The black spear danced, bringing bursts of gusts of wind. The tip of the spear, with a sharp cold light and a dazzling light, swept away towards the head of Susa not far away. Madara's face had a trace of solemnity. The scarlet Sharingan in her eyes turned frantically, and the blue flame long knife with cracks began to recover at a speed visible to the naked eye, and it returned to its original state in the blink of an eye. Susa stepped forward, and both knives went up to the edge, not afraid at all. When the deafening sound of the collision of weapons sounded next time, the blue flame blade successfully blocked Hanxing's gun blow. A strong storm appeared and swept around, like a natural disaster. But at this time, there is nothing else in the eyes of the two, and some are only the opposite sides. Madara of Suzunaka took this opportunity to quickly seal with both hands. Her abdomen bulged high, chakra surged in her body, and she said in a flat voice, "Fire style, the fire is gone." A giant great fireball that was as hot as lava, with a red color, spewed out of Madara's mouth and galloped towards Hanxing in the center of the eyebrows of the opposite thunder giant. At the moment of its appearance, the surrounding temperature rises sharply. Hanxing was not in a hurry. His whole body flashed with lightning, like a small pearl. He stretched his right hand forward, and then waved it suddenly. A huge thunder dragon, whose whole body seemed to be burning with a layer of black flames, burst out from between Hanxing's eyebrows, and charged towards the hot fireball with its fangs and claws. Roar! The black thunder dragon roared and opened its mouth directly at the fireball in front of it, like a dog eating the sun, swallowing it all in one go. Advertisement boom! The scorching fireball exploded inside, and yes, the entire body of the thunder dragon suddenly expanded. The surrounding space was distorted, and the temperature was even more frightening. After a while, the thunder dragon returned to normal. A wisp of black smoke spit out from its mouth, and the entire dragon body became dim. The black dragon swayed, and the dim thunder light, with an unparalleled impact, was like a black streamer, rushing towards Madara in the center of Susa. What a tough junior! Madara's scarlet eyes rolled quickly, with a trace of dissatisfaction and approval on her face. Boom! The violent energy of the black thunder dragon exploded instantly, and the black thunder and lightning spread to Susa's body instantly. At the center of the thunder dragon's attack, cracks appeared suddenly. It just returned to its original state in the blink of an eye. At this moment, taking advantage of the thunder dragon's attack, the thunder giant moved a step to the left, and on one side of his body, the spear tugged and pulled back its strength. The two blue flame long knives suddenly lost their target, and they couldn't get it back for a while with too much force. Go back to the ground below. Boom! Two huge skyscar canyons reappeared. Hanxing took this opportunity, the huge thunder spear, and the moment when Susa's two blue flame swords were not retracted. Holding the gun, the bearer swept the sky and the huge force towards Susa horizontally. The black spear instantly turned into a giant pillar, and bombarded Susa's armor fiercely. Boom! An incomparably dull sound resounded around, causing people in the distance to feel numb in their ears and dizzy. Boom! Boom! The violent force erupted instantly, as if the world had opened up. The mountain-like Suzuo was immediately impacted by this force, and the entire Suzuo involuntarily stepped back, leaving two deep shoe marks like potholes on the ground. Advertisement squeak. Susanoo stabbed two blue flame long knives into the ground, trying to stop the powerful impact on his body. Two deep, crack-like knife marks reappeared on the ground. Hanxing takes advantage of the momentum. The entire thunder giant jumped high and appeared in midair, surrounded by white clouds within reach. Whoosh! The thunder giant flipped, head down and feet up, holding a long spear, with the spear tip as the center, spinning rapidly, like a black thunder vortex falling towards Susanoo below. Below, Uchiha Madara watched Hanxing's offensive with a trace of ugliness on his calm face. He didn't expect this Senjuhan to be so difficult. I'm afraid it was just like the resurrection of Hashirama before. Cut. Murmured in the mouth. At this time, the strength of Suzuo gradually disappeared. He held two blue flame-long knives, and his wings flickered behind him, like a dark cloud covering the sun. The mountain like Suzuo rose straight into the air. There is no target underground, and Hanxing's thunder vortex is attacking with all his strength, and he can't stop it at all. Had to bombard directly to the ground. Boom. Like a meteorite falling to the ground, a huge roar resounded for 100 miles around. For a time, the sky is shaking, the earth is shaking and the mountains are shaking, and all kinds of visions are different. The ground was like a piece of paper, and a huge hole was directly pierced by Hanxing's thunder vortex. It was more like an abyss than a hole. It was pitch dark, barren, and you could vaguely see black arcs of amazing power inside. In the deepest part of the abyss, the Hanxing Thunder Giant stood vertically, looking up at the dark blue Susa in the sky. As soon as the footsteps stepped on, the entire abyss trembled, and the Thunder Giant took advantage of this impact to rise into the air and fall to the ground, bringing bursts of smoke and dust. Advertisement. What a tough boy. It seems that I can only use that trick. Suzunari Uchiha Madara murmured. Then the hands quickly knotted, and a shocking scene appeared, with Madara's knot inside. In midair, the dark blue Susanoo stood vertically, and his hands began to knit together. That's right. It's the Susa seal. Madara has a seal, and Susa has the same seal on the outside. This scene, except for Hanxing after reading the original book, everyone who saw it was shocked. Hanxing's eyes narrowed, his expression solemn. Could it be that trick? I didn't expect it. In this state, you can still use this trick. As if a stone fell into the water, the whole sky suddenly became dark. It's really that trick. Hanxing felt the energy fluctuations in the sky and murmured. Put your hands together. 1, 2. 10 giant Rasengans appear out of nowhere in the blink of an eye. Every Rasengan is as big as a full moon and as bright as a pearl. Hanxing's thoughts moved, and he mixed the two attributes of wind and thunder into it, chakra. In the blink of an eye, the wind attribute chakra is swirling all over the body, and the massive Rasengan wrapped in black lightning is instantly formed. At the same time, the thunder flashed on the body, and the huge thunder spear began to erupt with dazzling black thunder. The Hanxing Thunder Giant pretended to be throwing, looking up at the sky covering boulder in midair. Junior. You can force the old man to use this trick. You are proud of yourself. I, Uchiha Madara, would like to call you the first person in the younger generation. The arrogant, domineering voice resounded like Hongzhong Dalu, resounding within 100 miles around. Immediately followed by a loud shout, meteorites are falling. Chapter 202 Previous chapter Next chapter Advertisement. With Madara's loud shout, the shadow covering the sky also revealed its original appearance. After seeing the face in the sky, everyone subconsciously opened their mouths, and there was an unconcealed fear in their eyes. No, how is it possible? Come on, just kidding. This must not be true. Is this what Uchiha Madara is all about? Shikajiu, Dingza, and Hizashi lost their voices in shock. In the distance, Onogi and Tsunade also had a monstrous wave in their hearts. Onogi, who was originally floating in midair, flew directly into the distance. Otherwise, if he stayed here, he might die. He even added a point to the nightmare of Uchiha Madara in his heart. That dark shadow covering the sky is nothing but a huge rock or a meteorite. The meteorite that covered the sky, with the seal of Uchiha Madara, began to fall rapidly downward. And the center of the fall is where the Hanxing Thunder Giant stands. Hanxing, who was standing between his eyebrows, did not change his expression. The dazzling black spear turned into a black streamer with a dazzling light, galloping towards the meteorites in the sky like Hu Yi shooting the sun. At the moment it took off, the 10 massive Rasengans around the Thunder Giant also spun toward the sky. The thunder spear is extremely fast, and it is in front of the meteorite in the blink of an eye. Boom! A monstrous roar like a Mars hitting the earth sounded at this time. Advertisement. The black thunder spear instantly became larger and turned into a huge spear of the sky. Directly pierced the meteorite in midair like a string of balls, through it. Looking up from the bottom, I saw a large hole form directly in the middle of the huge meteorite, as if it had been punched by someone. Around this hole, cobweb-like cracks quietly emerged. At this time, in midair, a thunderous flicker sounded. 10. The extra-large ball with the two attributes of wind and thunder rushes towards the meteorite without hesitation. Boom! A dazzling light erupted on each ball, and the violent energy exploded instantly. It was as if dozens of shells exploded in midair. Each ball turns into a huge picture of two areas of wind and thunder, madly swallowing everything above the meteorite. 10 balls are not more or less, just to carve up the entire meteorite area. In Madara's face in shock, the powerful meteorite began to disappear at a speed visible to the naked eye, and in the blink of an eye, more than half of it disappeared. After a while, the huge meteorite disappeared completely, leaving only a thumb-like rubble, representing its existence. In the distance, Tsunade did not know when he appeared behind Shikuji and the others, and said in a stunned voice, This is blocking it? Clap. Tsunade slapped Shikaju's head hard, feeling the feel of his hand, making sure he wasn't dreaming. And Shikaku looked at Tsunade with a resentful expression. Why is it always me who gets hurt? Advertisement. The others didn't seem to hear half of it, opened their mouths, their eyes were dull, and they didn't close for a long time. Obviously, their minds have now turned into a mess. Goo. Onogi stood in midair, thinking that he had left the attack range of the meteorite, and turned around to watch a scene that he will never forget. This meteorite, actually, it was defeated. After a long time, Oyemu said with shock in his eyes and a hoarse voice. In the future, never offend Senju Han. Onogi secretly made up his mind. That junior. What an astounding strength. Madara stood between Susa's eyebrows in midair, her silver teeth clenched, and her face finally showed huge fluctuations. He didn't expect that Junior could defeat even the meteorite he summoned. Today, Senju Han gave him more shock than all the sum of Senju Hashirama's death. Damn it. I can't believe you've been able to resist a few times, Madara exasperated. The hands start to seal again, and they are synchronized to Susa. Seeing this, Hanxing narrowed his eyes with a hint of sarcasm. Have you not given up yet? That's all right. I'll convince you of your defeat today. Compared to Chakra, I'm confident that I won't lose to anyone. The Thunder Giant held his right hand empty. A flash of thunder light flashed on his hand, and a large black arc of thunder gathered in his hand. In the blink of an eye, a huge black long spear appeared in his hand. Behind him, the full moon-like Rasengan appeared again. Hanxing added 2 attributes of wind and thunder, no more, no less, exactly 10. Madara looked at Hanxing's actions below. Ji Yujing Bubo's face was twisted. Junior is arrogant. With an angry roar, Madara quickly tied the seal, and the chakra on her body was dazzling, as if the substance was injected directly into Susa, pulling the meteorite from outer space. Oh, did you use all your strength? Hanxing calmed down, his mind moved, and there were 10 extra large balls around again, and at the same time injected the 2 attributes of wind and thunder. Advertisement in the distance, Tsunade and the others, who were watching this scene, looked serious, and Ding Zuo muttered, Is this the winner? Shut up. What's the matter? We'll talk about it later. Tsunade slapped Ding Zuo's head with a slap and reprimanded, it seems that he's used to hitting his head. Ding Zuo suddenly stopped his voice and looked at Lu Ju with a resentful expression on his face. It seemed that he meant to say that he would all blame you. If it weren't for you, Master Tsunade wouldn't start hitting people in the head. Lu Ju directly ignored it, and Lousy, the special Miao, was beaten by Master Tsunade. The people around them naturally didn't know about the silent conversation between the two. At this time, they were completely attracted by the battle situation in the distance. In mid-air, the mountain-like Susa stands in the void, with both hands forming seals. In the sky, a dark shadow that covers the sky and the sun quietly sticks its head out. Just showing one head, he is much bigger than Ban Susa. It's enough to see how big this meteorite is. The meteorite continued to fall, pierced through the atmosphere above, and appeared in the eyes of everyone. 1 word. Big. 2 words are big. 3 words are especially big. If the volume of the meteorite summoned by Madara just now is 1, then Hanxing now sees the volume at least greater than 2, which is twice the size of the previous meteorite. As expected of the meteorite that Madara tried her best to summon, Hanxing's mouth twitched, revealing a smile. In that case, then I'm adding some. With that said, the entire Thunder Giant's entire body flashed with thunder, dazzling like a thunder god descending to earth. Around the body, black thunder spears quietly emerged, and each thunder spear was comparable to the one in his hand. Not only that, after the completion of these, there will be a huge Rasengan in front of Hanxing's Thunder Giant, and then Hanxing will inject the 2 attributes of wind and thunder. Chapter 203 Previous chapter Next chapter Advertisement. For a time, Hanxing was surrounded by Rasengan and thunder spears. According to preliminary estimates, the number of each was at least 30, plus the previous at least 40. Madara looked at the densely packed Rasengans and thunder spears around the Thunder Giant below, her face full of unwillingness, and she sighed. I didn't expect that this old man couldn't win a junior even if he tried his best. At this time, the meteorites in the sky began to fall downward. Hanxing stretched out his right hand, and the Rasengan and thunder spear with violent energy blazed towards the sky with super powerful power. The black to the thunder spear is like a rain of arrows, and the huge meteorite is directly pierced into a honeycomb shape. Around the hole of the meteorite, dense cracks appeared out of thin air, like an old man who was dying, and it would shatter when touched. Rumble. Rumble. At this time, dozens of powerful massive Rasengan appeared here, like the sound of dozens of shells blasting into the air. 1, 2, 3. Every sound is enough to kill a cage-level powerhouse. They turn into beautiful black and blue pictures, surrounded by huge meteorites, and then madly devour everything on the meteorite like ants. Advertisement. Its speed is much faster than it was just now. In the blink of an eye, the huge meteorite has been swallowed up by these massive Rasengans, and not even the slag is left. At this point, the second meteor summoned by Madara was successfully destroyed by Hanxing. The huge shockwave in midair also stopped, and the black and blue picture scrolls began to dim until they disappeared. Whoosh! Boom! The huge Susa set off a gust of wind and fell to the ground, making a huge roar. Madara lifted Susa. Her whole body flickered with white light, her eyes looked carefully at Hanxing. Her arrogant voice carried a hint of praise. Junior, this old man recognizes you. In this world of ninjas, you are the second old man besides Hashirama. A recognized person. The only thing that is a bit ridiculous is that the 2 people recognized by the old man are actually members of the Senju family. It's ironic. As Uchiha Madara spoke, his body was like soot, slowly dissipating from the lower body into the world. What's so ironic about this? Doesn't this prove how talented my Senju family is? Hanxing said indifferently. The rich thunder light on the body began to dissipate, the whole person stood in the air, and then slowly fell to the ground. It seems, you still have some trump cards left, Madara murmured as she watched Hanxing, who was slowly descending. It's all right, isn't it the same for you? This is not your full strength? Besides, your eyes are not on yourself, so it's okay to be like this. Hanxing's plain words made Madara's pupils shrink violently. He looked at Hanxing deeply. It seems, you know more than I imagined. I hope that the next time we fight, we can use our best for each other. During the speech, Madara's soot had burned to his mouth, and then in Hanxing's plain eyes, Uchiha Madara's whole body turned to ashes and vanished. Advertisement. Of course, the burning is only his body, his soul will definitely not disappear. If the real soul also dissipates, Madara's plan will definitely not use this kind of ninjutsu. At the same time, Hanxing also knows that Madara must have left a resurrection for himself. The means, and even the materials used in impure world reincarnation. The next fight, sure to be Madara's heyday, will bring back Rinnegan's 6 paths Madara. The next fight will be more intense than now. Hanxing lowered his head and looked at the desolate and dense potholes around him. He secretly thought, let rock shinobi handle such big potholes, after all, they use earth style more in a country. He looked up, looked at Onogi floating in the distance, and said, Third Tsuchikage, please fill the potholes here with the ninjas of Rock Shinobi Village. After speaking, regardless of whether Onogi answered or not, The figure disappeared in a flash. In the distance in the air, Onogi shuddered when he heard Hanxing's words. Damn it, Senju Han. What do you think of our rock shinobi? After he finished speaking, his body swayed again, like a deflated balloon. He still decided to follow Hanxing's words. Without him, his strength is low. After witnessing the battle between Hanxing and Uchiha Madara with his own eyes, he has a deep understanding of Hanxing's strength and his own strength. The two are not on the same level at all. If he angered Rock Shinobi Village because he didn't obey Hanxing's words, then he would be the sinner of Rock Shinobi Village. Even if Tsuchikage is alive in all dynasties, he is no match for Senjuhan. While thinking about it, Onogi flew back to the Rock Shinobi station with a lost face. On a small hillside, Shikaku, Tsunade and others carefully stared at everything about Hanxing and Madara in the distance. After seeing Madara disappear into a bubble, the whole person suddenly relaxed. Advertisement, huh. It's finally over. It seems that Lord Han has won. Lu Ju exhaled. It was Master Han who won, but why did Madara's entire body disappear into a bubble? Shouldn't he have died on the ground and left a corpse? Akamichi Dingza asked in confusion. It should be Madara's rejuvenation technique, Tsunade explained, frowning. If that's the case, then it makes sense. It's just that this number is really scary. Rejuvenate one's youth. Restore the peak combat power of the youth. Although the time is short, if someone with a particularly powerful strength uses this technique, I am afraid that it can change the situation of a battle at a dangerous moment. Lu Ju's mind quickly analyzed, realizing the power of this technique. Humph. What are you talking about? In this world, Uchiha Madara is the only one who can use this technique. Now that he is dead, he is probably lost. Tsunade snorted coldly. Yeah. That's right. Lu Ju nodded, then said, then Tsunade-sama will wait here for Han-sama, we will leave first. As he said that, he gave everyone a wink. Everyone was not a fool, and because Lu Ju was so straightforward, they all followed Lu Ju away. In the blink of an eye, the crowd was full, but now only Tsunade is left. They are quite interesting. Hanxing appeared in front of Tsunade and smiled when Shiju and others left. Are you all right? Tsunade walked up to Hanxing and looked left and right at Hanxing. After confirming that Hanxing was all right, he finally let go of his dangling heart. Then he looked excited and patted Hanxing's chest heavily. I'm going. I didn't expect you to be so strong. Even Uchiha Madara, who was at the same time as Grandpa, can beat him. Madara's strength is not at his peak. I beat him just by chance. Hanxing shook his head. It's not at the top. Who are you fooling? Tsunade looked incredulous. Chapter 204 Previous chapter Next chapter Advertisement. Hanxing shook his head, didn't say much, changed the subject and said, I came to see you today to leave. Leave? Where do you want to go? Heaven. Tsunade smiled indifferently. Go to a place. It will take at least 10 years to come back, Hanxing said truthfully. Where are you going? It won't take more than 10 years to travel through the entire ninja world. Tsunade frowned, his face unsightly. Finally, a powerful Senju clansman appeared, and now he has to leave. No one is in a bad mood. I'll take you to a place. Hanxing grabbed Tsunade in one hand, and disappeared in a flash. After a while, Hanxing and Tsunade appeared at a forked grove intersection in the Land of Fire. What did you bring me here for? Well, I hope you will take a child as an apprentice in 10 years and teach him. 10 years later? What are you kidding? A child will be here in 10 years' time? How can you predict? Tsunade looked at Hanxing with a foolish look. In the 60th year of Konoha, there will be a boy who uses lightning-style bloodline like me. He is my relative. When you say, lightning flash, he will understand everything. Your relative? Isn't that my Senju clan? Also, you don't really know what to expect. Tsunade looked at Konoha, who was not joking with Hanxing. His eyes were full of disbelief. Remember, don't forget. By the way, don't tell anyone about this, just remember it yourself. Even Yuan Fei Hiruzen, Hanxing said solemnly. Got it. What you're saying is true, that's also a member of my Senju clan. Of course I'll remember it. Tsunade seriously Kaido. Advertisement. Seeing Tsunade's expression, Hanxing's face was relieved. He hugged Tsunade again, and said, "Do you want me to send you back to the front line? Or Konoha village?" "Let's know Konoha. Go there for a meal and I'll see you off." "It is good." At the gate of Konoha village, Hanxing appeared here with Tsunade in his arms. After more than half a year of repairs, Konoha has basically returned to its original appearance. Hanxing and Tsunade swaggered towards the inside of Konoha. As for Konoha Shinobi, who was guarding the door next to him, he was ignored. On the other hand, the two Konoha Shinobi guards, who were guarding the gate, trembled involuntarily after seeing Hanxing appear, and a cold sweat appeared on his forehead unconsciously. He even forgot to say hello to Tsunade. After Hanxing left, the two seemed to be picked up from the water, and their clothes were soaked through. "I'm going to tell Lord Hokage. You are here." After one of the gatekeeper ninjas finished speaking, he left in a hurry. How about the gatekeeper ninja? Hanxing and the two knew that at this time, they had already come to the streets of Konoha, and now it was the third battle. The popularity of the streets was not much, and the economy was a bit depressed. "Just this one. Just treat me as seeing you off." Tsunade pointed to a kebab restaurant that was deserted, and said. "Okay." Hanxing nodded. "Senju Han. Is that you?" At this moment, a gritted voice said behind Hanxing. Hanxing and Tsunade turned their heads at the same time, and saw that Kushina was shopping with a girl with a soft and weak look. Surprisingly, this girl and Kushina had red hair together. Advertisement. That girl. Hanxing's pupils shrank for a while. He remembered that in the original book Konoha did not have the second Vortex clan, and sure enough, because of his appearance, the order of time and space began to fluctuate. "Hey, what are you doing looking at Reiko all the time? Are you embarrassed if you don't see it?" Kushina said with some dissatisfaction. "The old lady has been seen by you. You are still not satisfied. Do you still want to see Lingza?" The Vortex Reiko with beautiful short hair next to her heard Kushina's shout. Her face was inexplicable. She quickly pulled Kushina. Her face was pale, and anxiously said, "Kushina, don't be unreasonable to Lord Han." Afterwards, he bowed to Hanxing and said, "I'm sorry, Mr. Han. You don't have the same knowledge as Kushina. She is like this. I'm sorry." He also quickly bowed to Hanxing. After all, Hanxing's prestige is too great in Konoha. Today's Konoha may not know who Hokage is, but Hanxing will definitely know that it is the big devil who ruined their Konoha. "Don't do this." Hanxing waved his hand. "Kushina and I know each other. It doesn't have to be this way. Since we met, let's have a meal together. We are also friends, so let's treat it as a parting banquet." Hanxing invited. "You're leaving?" Kushina frowned. Hanxing nodded. "Then don't eat here. Come to my house. Just in time for you to see Reiko and the old lady's craftsmanship." Kushina looked excited. "That's fine. I guess the boss won't be very happy if we eat here." Tsunade pointed to the pale boss inside. "Okay then." After the decision, a few people walked towards Kushina's residence, while Tsunade went to buy wine. In her words, she was going to leave anyway, and this time, he was drunk and he would never return. Hokage's office. After that incident, his face became much older. Advertisement. Lord Hokage. No, not good. Senju-han is back. The gatekeeper ninja pushed open the door of Hokage and ran in and shouted. Yuan-Fei Hiruzen, who was reviewing the documents, changed his face when he heard this, and looked at the ninja below. He knew that this ninja, Azumo Rijao, was Konoha's gatekeeper ninja. "Rijao, you said Senju-han is back?" "Yes." Azumo Rijao nodded quickly. "What about others? What are you doing here again this time?" Yuan-Fei Hiruzen asked again. He and Tsunade-sama entered the village. I vaguely heard the conversation between the two, as if Senju-han was about to leave. Tsunade-sama would bring him back, have a meal, and see him off. Hyuga Rijao pondered. "Okay. I know. You go back first." Yuan-Fei Hiruzen exhaled. As long as he didn't come to destroy Konoha, he would do whatever he likes. After knowing that Hanxing didn't mean to make trouble here, Yuan-Fei Hiruzen immediately ordered, "Don't panic when you see Senju-han, just be respectful." As for himself, he won't come forward. He and Senju-han have a deep hatred, and going there will only be embarrassing, so forget it. At night, the stars hang all over the sky, like bright pearls, dazzling and dazzling, sprinkling the world with beautiful silks. Kushina Villa. Hanxing and Kushina are sitting opposite each other at the table. What's wrong with Vortex Reiko? Why haven't I heard of it before? Hanxing asked. He wanted to know the origin of Vortex Reiko, but if he didn't figure it out, he never felt at ease. There was no such person as Vortex Reiko in the original book. If he went back to the future, would there be another Vortex clan? Chapter 205 Previous chapter Next chapter Advertisement. Why do you fall in love with Reiko again? My mother can tell you. Reiko already has someone she likes. You are not allowed to draw her attention. Vortex Kushina. Her face suddenly became ugly, and a nameless anger rushed to her heart. You're thinking too much. I'm just curious. Hanxing looked at Kushina, who instantly turned into a blood-red pepper, and said quickly. Really? Hanxing nodded. Seeing that Hanxing didn't seem to be cheating, Kushina reverted to the original. I don't know. Minato brought Reiko back from the Rock Shinobi battlefield a few days after I broke up with Minato. At that time, Reiko was being hunted by a group of thieves. Minato saw Reiko's hair color and asked, "Bring Reiko back." Wait. You broke up with Minato? Hanxing had a hint of shock in his eyes. That's right. What's wrong? Kushina asked suspiciously. Aren't you two in a good relationship? Why did you break up? I broke up without feeling it before. Now it's just right, without me. Reiko can take care of Minato's every move with peace of mind. Kushina said this. Her face did not fluctuate. It seems that she really doesn't like Namikaze Minato. You mean? Uzumaki Reiko likes Minato? And when did you break up? Yeah. The hero saves Meibai. I think Minato is also in love with Reiko now, and is moved by Reiko's gentleness, cooking skills, and generosity. If it weren't for the Third War now, they would probably have been married. After a pause, Kushina frowned and said, It seems that we broke up 3 months ago, and not long after we broke up, Minato came back with Reiko. After hearing Kushina's words, Hanxing was speechless. Could it be that the rules of the ninja world automatically correct the trajectory? Kushina just didn't like Minato, and the rules of the ninja world sent a Vortex clan again. It seems that the protagonist of Naruto must appear. Advertisement. Hey. What are you thinking there? Kushina reached out and waved in front of Hanxing's mask, dissatisfied. Nothing. Hanxing shook his head. Boom. At this time, Tsunade came from the outside carrying a large box, and the sound of the glass bottle shaking inside could be heard as he walked. Sister Tsunade. Who are you? Kushina's eyes widened, pointing at the box above. This is the wine I brought from Konoha, and I have to pour him down today. Tsunade put the box down and sneered. Master Tsunade. Kushina. Master Han. It's time to eat. Uzumaki Reiko's voice came from the kitchen. Saying that, Vortex Reiko brought out stacks of fragrant meals from inside. Wow. It smells so good. Kushina sniffed the fragrance on the table and praised. It's nothing. Vortex Reiko smiled softly. Then, eat, I'll go first. Reiko took off her cooking apron and said with a smile. Reiko, aren't you eating here? Kushina asked suspiciously. No. Minato will come back later with the Flying Thunder God technique, saying that he wants to report important information to Third Hokage, and I'm going back to cook for Minato now. Uzumaki Reiko shook her head with a smile, and said Ruowu opened the box next to her, and estimated what she would drink this evening. Advertisement. Oh. That. See Reiko tomorrow. Kushina sent Reiko away. After that, Tsunade and Kushina were left on the table. After that, Tsunade took out a bottle of sake and sneered. Drink it. Only one of us can go out sober today. Okay. Hanxing nodded. He plans to let go of himself completely tonight, and get drunk for a while. Since he came to the third battle, no, it's because he hasn't had a good rest since he came to the ninja world to relax his mind. Either he is practicing, or he is on the way to practice. 1 bottle, 2 bottles. In the blink of an eye, the table was filled with dense wine bottles. Hanxing and Tsunade both refused to accept the other, and they were about to get each other drunk. 2 hours later, Tsunade fell asleep on the ground. Kushina joined the fray. Hanxing came without fear, and fought bloody all directions. Hokage office. Yuan Fei Hiruzen listened seriously in front of him, and the Namikaze division reported the content of the battle between Hanxing and Madara on the border between the Land of Fire and the Land of Earth today. Is what you said true? Yuan Fei Hiruzen looked at the Namikaze division seriously. If he hadn't known Minato's character, he would have thought that Minato was lying. Senju Han is fighting with Uchiha Madara. What is this? Isn't Uchiha Madara fighting with First Hokage and being killed by First Hokage? How come alive again? Lord Hokage can't be fake. The Susanoo used by Ban, with a height of 1,000 meters, is like a mountain, fighting with Hanxing's thunder giants. Not only I have seen this, but all the ninjas in the border of fire and earth have seen it. It is estimated that within 2 days, this incident will spread throughout the entire ninja world. Namikaze Minato said with a wry smile. Okay. You can go back. Yuan Fei Hiruzen waved his hands with wide eyes. Obviously even Hokage would take some time to digest this information. Advertisement, understood. But Hokage-sama, don't you wonder who won? Senjuhan is in Konoha now, Yuan Fei Hiruzen said. I see. Then I retire Lord Hokage, Minato said, leaving the place. In the blink of an eye, Yuan Fei Hiruzen was left alone in the Hokage office. After confirming Namikaze Minato's departure, Yuan Fei Hiruzen's complexion became even older, and his complexion was pale and haggard. He knew that if the information of Namikaze Minato was true, then the idea of secretly seeking revenge on Hanxing could only be thought about in the future, or he could only curse behind his back, because, since Senju Han defeated Uchiha Madara head-on, his ninja world has become more and more serious. No one dares to shake the name of God. His strength, I am afraid, has reached the level of first Hokage Senju Hashirama. Alas! Yuan Fei Hiruzen let out a long sigh after a long time, with unwillingness, dissatisfaction, and even hope for revenge. With this sigh, it means Yuan Fei Hiruzen's hatred towards Senju Han has vanished. In the early morning, when the first rays of the sun shined on Hanxing's face through the window, Hanxing's closed eyes suddenly opened, he rubbed his aching temples, and muttered, "How much did you drink last night? It hurts." Suddenly, he felt that there were 2 fleshy things on his chest gently pressing against him, opened his eyes, and the scene in front of him shocked him. His throat was dry. The sullen head suddenly became sober, and he thought to himself, anxiously said, "It's over, it's over, it's a big disaster. I knew that I didn't drink so much alcohol last night." Chapter 206 Previous chapter Next chapter Advertisement. I saw 2 new cars that had just been built and had not yet been painted beside him. 2 drops of red flames are so bright and dazzling in Hanxing's eyes. The house is full of items from the car, disorganized, and even the mask on his face appeared on the ground at some point. Hanxing glanced at the sleeping Tsunade and Kushina, and his heart was very complicated. Tsunade was nothing, but Kushina, that is the mother of the prince. Now that Hanxing drives a new car, I don't know if there will be Naruto in the future. While thinking about it, Hanxing started to put on his clothes and mask. Just after packing, Tsunade and Kushina opened their eyes in a daze. They looked at each other and looked at the red flame not far away. All of them were silent. They put on their shirts and walked towards the outside with strange footsteps. Before leaving, Kushina opened the windows in the house to ventilate, and without him, the smell of gasoline in the house was too great. In the living room, Hanxing was thinking about the remedy, but after thinking about it for a long time, Hanxing couldn't think of a reason. According to the original work, when Kushina is producing Naruto, Obito will attack Konoha and release 9 tails, and Kushina and Minato will also die. Now that Kushina is her own woman, Obito won't let Obito mess around. But after that, how did Naruto come out? How did he become 9 tails Jinchuriki? Unless turning the Vortex Reiko into 9 tails Jinchuriki again? Yes. Is that possible? Know that the 9 tails Jinchuriki today is Kushina. Advertisement right. Yin-Yang 9 tails chakra. In the original work, Minato used the 8-sign seal to seal the Yang 9 tails in Naruto's body, and the Yin 9 tails sealed in his own body. If this is the case, then it is feasible. Another method is to completely deprive 9 tails from Kushina's body, then seal it in Vortex Reiko's body, and use Yongdun to inject vitality into Kushina. However, this method is a bit dangerous. Although he has already mastered Yongdun, it is only a preliminary master. Like in the original book, Naruto installed a heart for Guy and an eye for Kakashi. No master yet. Headache. Hanxing sat there, muttering at last. Clap clap clap. Saying that, Hanxing slapped himself 3 times in the face. What do you say you don't drink? Well now, what a big mess you've done. Getting up, Hanxing walked towards the kitchen, looking at the tonic soup being boiled in the kitchen. Is it ready? I just tested 2 new cars last night. The speed was a little too fast. Even if he had a sage body, he didn't slow down. As soon as the soup was placed on the table and poured for the 2 girls, there was a noise from inside, and Kushina and Tsunade walked out with a dull expression. I thought you were leaving without saying goodbye. I didn't expect you to be cooking, Tsunade said directly. Yo, I didn't expect to be able to cook, and it's so delicious. Kushina picked up the bowl on the table, took a sip and praised. Am I the kind of person who drives a new car and then abandons the car? Hanxing said, slightly speechless. The 2 women looked at each other and said in unison, yes. Hanxing covered his head. Stop talking about this. I want to get the 9 tails out of Kushina's body. Let her be an ordinary person, Hanxing said sternly. Advertisement. Kushina, who was drinking soup, trembled for a while, then calmed down and refused. No, I'm used to it. If you pull the 9 tails out, Kushina will die, Tsunade said sternly. Now that the 3 of them have had the experience last night, they are a family, and there is nothing to talk about. I won't let that happen. I'm absolutely sure that if I pull 9 tails out of Kushina, nothing will happen to Kushina, Hanxing said solemnly. Where is teacher Yuan Fei? He has to agree. If he doesn't agree, no choice, Hanxing said coldly. Okay then. I'm fine with that. Tsunade threw up his hands. I said no. No need, Kushina shouted suddenly at this time, and the whole person ran out regardless of the wound on his body. Hanxing sighed softly, gave Tsunade an apologetic look, and ran after him. While Kushina was not paying attention, Hanxing grabbed Kushina and disappeared in place. Konoha. Deep in the back mountain, there are few people here and overgrown with weeds. 2 figures suddenly appeared here. Okay. Don't lose your temper. Hanxing rubbed Kushina's red hair and whispered. Why do you care about me? Don't care about me. Who are you? Kushina sobbed as she tapped Hanxing's chest. Hanxing was silent, took Kushina in his arms, and said firmly, I am your man. You are my woman. What do you say about me? Hearing Hanxing's words, Jushin's whole body froze, and then she cried out loudly in Hanxing's arms. After a long time, perhaps it was enough to vent, Kushina returned to normal, but his eyes were a little red and swollen. Hanxing smiled slightly and cured him with medical ninjutsu. Advertisement. Do you know why I want to pull the 9 tails out of your body? Hanxing paused, intending to speak truthfully. Why? Wait a minute, I'll stun the fox inside you first. Hanxing said, clutching the seal of Kushina with one hand, as if time and space were confused, and when he reappeared, a dark cage had already appeared. It's you. What are you doing here? Inside the cage, Ninetails's fox face was full of hideous expressions. Last time, it was because of this person who stopped him, otherwise, he would have gone out a long time ago. It's nothing, let you sleep. Hanxing smiled slightly, a huge amount of mental energy oozing out of his body, and Ninetail's eyes narrowed. Then he passed out on the ground. With Hanxing's current spirit, even if the illusion is not a grandmaster, making Ninetails unconscious is a piece of cake. After a while, Hanxing appeared in the jungle with a flower in front of his eyes and smiled at Kushina. Okay. Ninetails is already unconscious. After a pause, Hanxing said solemnly, I will tell you some things. You must not tell others about these things. Well, you said. Seeing Hanxing's face so solemn, Kushina realized the seriousness of the matter. Electromagnetic induction was emitted. After confirming that there was no one around, Hanxing emitted a spiritual barrier around him. This barrier was specially used to prevent Yuan Fei Hiruzen from peeping. Organizing the language, Hanxing informs Kushina of the future. Kushina's eyes were wide open, and his heart was beating non-stop. Obviously he didn't get anything back from Hanxing's words just now. After all, what Hanxing said was too shocking and unreal, not to mention that Kushina couldn't accept it for a while, even Yuan Fei and Hiruzen couldn't accept it. Chapter 207 Previous chapter Next chapter Advertisement. After a long time, Kushina came back to his senses and asked dumbly, You mean you came from the ninja world for 60 years? Right. What about my future? Dead. In the original time and space, without my presence, you married Namikaze Minato. Then, the Nine Tails rioted. In order to protect the child, you and Minato chose to seal the Nine Tails in their own son and become Nine Tails Jinchuriki. Hanxing said truthfully, then paused and said, However, because of my appearance now, you have become my woman, and it is estimated that the child may be born with Vortex Reiko. However, the only thing that gives me a headache is that if Reiko and Namikaze Minato marry, the child born will have the blood of the Vortex, but it will not be Nine Tails Jinchuriki. This is different from the future trajectory, so I want to seal the Nine Tails in the Vortex. In Reiko's body, let the historical trajectory return to normal. You said that I had a child with Minato, or is it Nine Tails Jinchuriki? Now that Nine Tails is on me, I'm with you, and I will definitely not have a child now. Then the Nine Tails riot will not happen. That child is not Jinchuriki, so Reiko and Minato will not die, and the family will be reunited, right? Kushina asked suspiciously. If that's the case, I won't be so worried. What should I say about the child born by the two of them? You can regard him as the son of luck in the ninja world, and the whole ninja world has to revolve around him, Hanxing said with a wry smile. I'm going. I didn't expect the child I gave birth to be so powerful. Kushina's eyes lit up, and then she complained, It's all your fault, you stay with me. Got it? Hanxing nodded. Now you understand why I have to seal Nine Tails in Reiko's body? Child of luck, wouldn't it work without a tailed beast? Kushina frowned. You can use Nine Tails as a cheating device given to him by the ninja world. Hanxing covered his head. Advertisement. Then what do you say now? I'll just listen to you. Kushina realized the seriousness of the matter even in a rough nerve. I have two ways. Hanxing mused, naming the two ways that came to mind this morning. Which one do you choose? The first one, Kushina said without thinking. Why? You can be a normal person for the second time, isn't it? Hanxing wondered. Mother chooses the first one. Where's the need for so much nonsense? Kushina looked at Hanxing and got angry. In her heart, she was thinking that now their family is her weakest. If she controls the Nine Tails mode in the future, wouldn't her strength be very high, and if she fights in the future, she won't become a burden to Hanxing and Tsunade's sisters. Are you sure? Hanxing looked at Kushina. Sure, Kushina said seriously. Got it. Hanxing nodded. I'll go to third generation and let him prepare everything. Wait. Kushina quickly grabbed Hanxing. What's wrong? Hanxing wondered. Are you sure there's no one here? Kushina asked shyly. There's no one. Then, do it again. What's the meaning? Advertisement. Last night. Kushina gritted her teeth. Hanxing's eyes lit up. 2 hours later, Hanxing walked out with a relaxed face and returned to Kushina's residence with Kushina on his back. By the time they got home, Tsunade was out. For a good treatment for Kushina, Hanxing went straight to third Hokage. Tell third Hokage about it. Yuan Fei Hiruzen's face was ashen, but he had no choice. He had to follow Hanxing's way. A day later, Yuan Fei Hiruzen made all preparations, and in a hidden cave, Kushina and Vortex Reiko sat together. Kushina said apologetically, Sorry Reiko. I didn't expect things to develop to this level and implicate you. It's all right, Kushina. This is my voluntary, so that we are both Jinchuriki. It can be regarded as a difficult situation. The Whirlpool Reiko was very angry, and there was no expression of complaining. Listening to the conversation between the two, Hanxing secretly praised it. He is indeed a character revised by the ninja world. This perfect character is almost comparable to Hinata. Shaking his head, Hanxing threw away the distracting thoughts in his mind, pressed Kushina's seal out, and entered the Nine Tails sealed space. In such a dark and humid place like a sewer, Hanxing looked at Nine Tails calmly and said,
The grip will divide you into 2 nine tails, 1 yin and 1 yang. The yang 9 tails are sealed inside the vortex Reiko's body. 9 tails continue to stay in Kushina. What did you say, kid? Inside the cage, the 9 tails fox's face was full of hideous expressions. I advise you to do as I say. You may not know Madara, not long ago, I defeated Uchiha Madara in his prime. If you don't want to, then I will release you and beat you. Advertisement Hanxing said, patted his forehead and said, by the way, I'll show you something. Hanxing raised his hand and stretched forward, and the black lightning sounded. This is ninjutsu mixed with yin. 9 tails' eyes shrank for a while, exclaiming. Look at this again. Hanxing's other hand stretched forward, and a hard wooden block appeared, wrapped around Hanxing's hand. Senju Hashirama's wood style. 9 tails exclaimed again. You know it. Now that I have mastered the yin and yang escape technique, it is possible to kill your tailed beasts. So I hope you will be obedient when the seal is sealed later. Hanxing threatened with the same expression on his face. You, Senju, right. I remember it. 9 tails stared at Hanxing carefully in the scarlet beast eyes, as if to remember Hanxing firmly and imprint it in his heart. With Hanxing's warning, everything went smoothly. The yang 9 tails were extracted from Kushina's body and sealed into Vortex Reiko's body. These processes took less than half an hour from start to finish. In the end, after Hanxing scored the 4 elephants and 8 signed seals inside the 2, it was a success. Okay. With this seal, no matter how violent you are, 9 tails, it won't affect you, Hanxing said with a smile. Thank you, Lord Han, Vortex Reiko said with a smile. No. Hanxing shook his head. After successfully sealing 9 tails and completely letting go of the troubles in his heart, Hanxing's mood finally became relaxed. Next, Hanxing took Kushina and Tsunade around the towns around Konoha, basically all over the country of fire. Shopping in the daytime, racing on Chu Ming Mountain at night, maybe because of the reason of leaving, as Kushina's car, in the heart of scrapping. Biao is very fast. Chapter 208 Previous chapter Next chapter Advertisement. A week later, Hanxing said goodbye to the 2 girls, and secretly told Kushina, remember, don't go to see me or find me when you meet me in the future, don't change the plot. If I go back to the future, I will go to find me. Yours. Yeah. Kushina nodded. I'll live in Tsunade's sister's house in the future, go look for us there when you get back. Kushina said with tears in her eyes. 100 healings mark, go to Tsunade and ask for it. That secret technique can keep you young forever. Kushina nodded again. Hanxing turned around and walked in front of Tsunade and said, be careful in the future. Cut. Got it. Where's the nonsense coming from? Tsunade waved his hand indifferently. Hanxing was speechless, and said to Kushina, I keep a mental energy in my mind. It can prevent you from being affected by illusions, including 9 tails. After that, Hanxing said some parting words to the 2 women, and disappeared in a flash. Not long after Hanxing left, the matter about the battle between Hanxing and Uchiha Madara in the fire and soil border began to erupt, sweeping the entire ninja world. Sand Shinobi Village, Cloud Shinobi Village, and Wu Nin Village's 3 high-rises, just like Yuan Fei Hiruzen's expression, were shocked and disbelieved at first, and then gradually accepted as the rumors became more and more intense. And I have given orders to Namikaze Minato in the future. All the characters who are tasked with Senjuhan or related to Senjuhan will give up the task at the first time, and will not be held accountable. A golden sand sea filled the air, and in the desert covered with wind and sand, in front, a small town appeared in Hanxing's field of vision. Advertisement. That town is the ancient country of Lulan. That's right. The ancient country of Lulan is said to be a country. If it is a metaphor, it would be more appropriate to say that it is a town. Hanxing appeared on the street, glanced at the towers standing in the town, felt the position of the dragon veins, and disappeared in place in a flash. When Yiru first came, Hanxing reached the bottom after passing through a long serpentine passage through dim candle flame lighting. Who? The 2 soldiers at the bottom held long spears and shouted at Hanxing. The ancient country of Lulan has not yet been destroyed, and the dragon vein is their most precious thing. Someone guarded it in Hanxing's expectation. As soon as the footsteps stepped on, the figure disappeared in the eyes of the two guards in an instant, and in their panic, the two guards collapsed to the ground. Hanxing pushed open the delicate stone door in front of him and walked inside. Similar to the altar building, Hanxing stepped forward, exactly like the original, and in the middle, a building similar to an eyeball bulge appeared in Hanxing's eyes. Hanxing took out the special kunai in the ninja kit. This kunai was a new one he asked for Namikaze Minato. Aiming at the raised building, he inserted it forcefully, and at the same time his hands quickly formed a seal, and said softly, "Seal." Whoosh! A green light appeared, forming a special rune guarding the surroundings. The energy in the dragon veins suddenly burst into a dazzling dark purple light, and the huge energy tide instantly drowned Hanxing. Hanxing frowned. What's going on? It doesn't match the original. After the tidal wave of energy erupted, the dragon veins returned to calm. Hanxing exuded a dazzling white light, and then began to decompose into white stars and disappeared in place. Advertisement. It's like teleportation, or time and space are reversed. When Hanxing appears again, he has returned to the inside of the dragon vein. The purple energy is so strong that it seems to be real, filling the surroundings of Hanxing. Looking at everything around me, I felt the changes in my body, like a dream of Nanki, and murmured, "Finally back." Next, Hanxing sat cross-legged, closed his eyes, and began to absorb the energy in the dragon veins. As Hanxing closed his eyes, the surrounding dragon veins began to find a vent, and quickly rushed towards Hanxing's dantian. How pure is Hanxing's solid chakra? It comes without fear, like a kunpeng swallowing the world. Unconsciously, an energy vortex formed behind him. In the dantian, the solid chakra, which was originally the size of the thumb, began to grow wildly. In the blink of an eye, the thumb, pigeon eggs, and eggs finally filled the entire chakra dantian. This energy is really too much, and it is still pouring into Hanxing's body like this, and it can't be stopped. Lying see, Hanxing said a classic national curse. His figure flashed, and the next moment, Hanxing disappeared inside the dragon veins and appeared outside the altar. Hoo-hoo! It's really dangerous. Hanxing was sweating profusely, with a hint of happiness in his eyes. He didn't expect that the energy in this dragon vein was so strong, so much, that it directly filled all the solid dantian in his body. You must know that his dantian has evolved twice, and it is no worse than the tailed beast, and now it is directly filled, enough to see the hugeness of the dragon vein chakra. Hanxing stared at his dantian, and found that there was a hint of purple in the dantian, and thought to himself, it should be absorbed too quickly and not very pure. Then sit cross-legged directly here, compress again, and condense the chakra that has just surged. Advertisement. After 1 day plus 10 days in the practice space, Hanxing opened his eyes. The original full dantian, after Hanxing compressed and condensed again, was reduced by a third. Hanxing gritted his teeth slightly, like a carp entering the sea, rushing towards the dragon veins again. This time is a very rare opportunity, he doesn't want to miss it. It is still the same position, the only difference is that the energy in the dragon veins is not as strong as before, or even a lot less. Hanxing closed his eyes to absorb the energy of the dragon veins in it again. After a while, Hanxing stopped absorbing it. This time, it was not as violent as last time, unable to stop. After Hanxing's repeated absorption, the dragon vein chakra has lost more than half of it, and only about 1/5 of it remains. Even the rich tide of energy around it has now become thinner. And the solid chakra in Hanxing's dantian is full again, and it can't be compressed even if it is compressed, and it has reached an unabsorbable state, or the limit. Hanxing frowned, and he still had 1/5 of the energy he didn't want to give up. Suddenly, he thought of a way to use the spiritual body in his mind to absorb these energy tides. Once this idea appeared, it couldn't be stopped, no matter what. Try it first. Hanxing gritted his teeth slightly. Can absorb the best, cannot absorb anyway, there is nothing to lose, at most it is a waste of time. Hanxing's thoughts moved, and in the dark space, Hanxing's spiritual body stood vertically. Open your eyes and let out a breath of suction around you. Like the river water that has opened the gate, the energy that had calmed down suddenly became agitated again, and rushed towards Hanxing's body frantically again. Chapter 209 Previous chapter Next chapter Advertisement Hanxing's face is happy. It works. In the dark world, the lavender energy was repeatedly tempered by Hanxing thunder and lightning, until it was extremely pure, before it was absorbed by the spiritual body in the mind. Crackle. Crackle. For a time, the sound of thunder could not stop in Hanxing's mind. An hour later, the surrounding purple energy became less and less, and after another hour, there was no more purple energy influx around. Hanxing opened his eyes and observed the situation while the controller was tempered by lightning. As he thought, the purple energy that was originally thin around it has now disappeared. Except for the light spot above, the rest of the surroundings are like a dark abyss, pitch black. You can't see your fingers. As soon as Hanxing stepped on his feet, the whole figure appeared like a dragon going out to sea, instantly appearing above the altar. Sitting cross-legged on the ground, he tempered the only remaining purple energy in his mind. After a while, as the last trace of pure energy was absorbed by Hanxing's spirit body, Hanxing's tense mood was finally relieved. This trip to the dragon veins can be said to have greatly increased the harvest. One is that he returned to the period of the Third World War, controlled the two escapes of yin and yang, and the wood-style bloodline. By the way, he opened the 7th gate of the 8 inner gates, and the whole person has made rapid progress. Growth of. The other is the chakra energy of this dragon vein. The solid chakra in the dantian has grown to the limit, which is completely comparable to the tailed beast, even more than the tailed beast. One is that the spiritual body has grown tremendously, and it is almost comparable to the height of the initial spiritual body. As soon as Hanxing's thoughts moved, the electromagnetic induction exploded instantly, and the mental energy in his mind also penetrated and spread wildly around. It is like sea water, endless, endless, endless. 1 meter, 2 meters, 1 mile, 2 miles. In the blink of an eye, it spreads to a radius of 100 miles, and it is still spreading to the outside, until it stops near San Shinobi Village. Advertisement. This range. Kind of scary, Hanxing murmured. In the electromagnetic induction, a large map appeared in his mind, and he couldn't see the end at a glance, and after a long time, it would even produce a dazzling feeling. Withdrawing the electromagnetic induction, Hanxing stood up and looked in a direction, where Konoha was located. He seemed to see through time and space, and saw the appearance of the 2 Ino girls today. Finally can go back. When the figure moves, the next moment the whole person disappears in place. Near San Shinobi Village, Naruto, Kakashi and others are chasing into the sky, a young man with yellow braids. He is wearing a black background with red clouds and a ring with blue characters on his hand. This person is Deidara, a member of Akatsuki's organization. At this time, Naruto and Kakashi were invited by San Shinobi to help San Shinobi defeat Deidara and save Gaara. But a few people are concerned about Deidara's flying giant bird, plus some ant-like detonating clay obstacles appear from time to time along the way. Naruto and the others were extremely anxious and powerless, so they could only stare at them from below. Boom! Once again, attacked by the surrounding clay ants, Naruto yelled, "Damn it! You wait for me. I will definitely save Gaara." What answered him were white balls of clay that fell from the air. Naruto and the others left the place in an instant. Boom! A burst of explosions sounded again. At the same time, Deidara's wild and arrogant laughter was heard in the air. Advertisement. Just you. What else can you do but just yell? Damn it. You wait for me. Naruto yelled anxiously again. Naruto. Protect me. I'm ready to use that move, Kakashi whispered to Naruto, with a slightly serious tone. That move? Which move, Kakashi-sensei? I don't remember what kind of ninjutsu you have to attack the sky, Naruto said nervously. Kakashi. This is my newly developed eye technique. Just remember to cover me, Kakashi said speechlessly. Yeah. Wrap it around me, Kakashi-sensei. Naruto patted his chest, confident. Kakashi flipped the forehead protector up, revealing the scarlet Sharingan inside, and then, the 3 hook jades in the Sharingan began to rotate rapidly to form a sickle shape. Looking at Deidara above, he said softly, Kamui. Up in the air, Deidara's arm surrounds the center, and the space begins to distort. Deidara's entire body is wrapped in the distorted space, unable to move, and can only wait for Kakashi with fierce eyes. After a while, the twisted space around Deidara returned to normal, and a blood-stained arm fell from above. Deidara grimaced, gritted her teeth. Damn it. Hoo-hoo. Kakashi gasped, covering his eyes. It missed. Kakashi-sensei. This? What kind of ninjutsu is this? How come I've never seen it before? It's amazing, Naruto said in shock. This is Mangekyo Sharingan's unique eye technique after Sharingan advanced. It's called Space Ninjutsu, Kakashi gasped. After speaking, he covered Sharingan's left temple with one hand, and his eyes were aimed at Deidara in the sky again. Deidara's body twisted again in the sky, and this time, Kakashi was on target. Advertisement Deidara's face above and Naruto's face excited. Kamui completely devoured Deidara. A puff of smoke flashed, and Deidara in the sky suddenly turned into a clay-like appearance. Below Kakashi and Naruto's faces change. When did you use the body replacement technique? The white giant bird rolled over. Deidara slowly appeared from inside, smiled wildly, and won't play with you. I have something to do now. Saying that, he threw Gaara's body in the mouth of Big Bird to the ground and left in a hurry. After all, he was still a coward, afraid of Kakashi's mysterious Mangekyo Sharingan ability. Seeing Gaara's body falling from the sky, Naruto jumped and caught Gaara. Just taking the cold temperature on Gaara's body, Naruto's face turned hideous, his scarlet eyes turned into two vertical eyes, and the dark red chakra on his body quietly filled the air. Nine Tails chakra activates instantly. Whoosh. In the next instant, Naruto's body suddenly disappeared in place and appeared in midair. The fist wrapped by Nine Tails chakra hit Deidara's body with a shock in Deidara's face. Boom. Deidara turned into a meteor and fell to the ground with a huge roar. Whoosh. Before Deidara could react, Naruto's body appeared in front of Deidara from midair, and he punched Deidara's brain in the pothole. Boom. 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 Three huge roars sounded in succession. Deidara was directly smashed into its original shape by Naruto, and turned into a huge piece of clay. On the ground, with Naruto's three huge force in succession, the small pothole was expanded again. Chapter 210 Previous chapter Next chapter advertisement. At this time, Naruto has only a trace of reason in his eyes, and the rest are all occupied by Nine Tails' ill will. Kakashi's face was ugly. Is this what Jiraiya-sama called Nine Tails? In a dark corner, Deidara looked at Naruto, who was frantically destroying in the distance, with a hint of shock in his eyes. Is this the strength of Nine Tails Jinchuriki? Much stronger than One Tail Shuhei? Whoosh! At this moment, Kakashi took out the seal paper given by Jiraiya, and there was a big sticker written on it. This is specially prepared by Jiraiya for Naruto, so that Naruto Nine Tails will not distinguish between enemy and foe. It can effectively seal the tailed beast chakra on Naruto. After Kakashi printed the sticker on Naruto's back, the Nine Tails chakra on Naruto's body suddenly disappeared and returned to the appearance of an ordinary person. Hoo-hoo. Kakashi-sensei. What's wrong with me? Naruto returned to normal, puzzled. It's okay. Nine Tails controlled his mind, Kakashi said calmly. Where's that person? Naruto came back to his senses, his face was furious, and he started frantically searching for Deidara's traces. Kakashi. Naruto. How are you? Guy appeared in front of Kakashi with the third squad. It's okay, Mr. Guy. The only bad thing is that Gaara is dead, Naruto said with a disappointed face. Gaara has the same experience as him. He also has a tail beast in his body, and he is also a person who agrees with him. He is a true friend. Now that he is dead, Naruto feels very uncomfortable. By the way, Neji, hurry up. Look at that guy with your white eyes. This time, even if he goes to the ends of the earth, I will avenge Gaara. Naruto came back to his senses and gritted his teeth. Okay. Neji said indifferently, with blue veins bursting out of the corners of his eyes, and said softly, white eyes. Advertisement. With that said, he turned his head to search around. Damn it. I didn't expect the Hyuga family to be in it, Deidara cursed in a secret corner. There, Neji said loudly, pointing in one direction. This direction is exactly where Deidara is. Whoosh whoosh. Without hesitation, Guy et al. Body flicker technique was launched instantly, and the water around Deidara was drained in the blink of an eye. Deidara glanced around with a frantic look on her face. You guys really got me because of you. As he said that, he took out a lump of clay from the ninja bag and began to eat it with big mouthfuls. After eating, Deidara's body instantly swelled up, and he laughed wildly. Let you see my ultimate art. Art is an explosion. Deidara raised her index finger and thumb up and shouted. At the moment when Deidara's body swelled, Neji shouted, "Everyone get out of the way, he's going to blow himself up." Guy and the others heard the words and left instantly. Boom. Deidara's entire body exploded. The strong roar resounded throughout the audience, making the scalp tingle. The huge aftermath turned into a gust of wind, covering the surrounding kilometer range. Really decisive, Kakashi murmured. Advertisement. He's dead. Let's go meet little Sakura, Naruto said sadly, carrying Gaara's body. Several people nodded, but Kakashi was spread out on the ground at this time. Might Guy quickly picked up Kakashi and said, "How are you, Kakashi?" "It doesn't matter, I just used Sharingan too much and overdrafted it," Kakashi said weakly. Boom. Magodan Guy directly carried Kakashi on his shoulders, revealing a big white fang, and said heartily, "Then leave it to me." While talking, several people left in one direction. After a few people left, the ground where Deidara blew himself up began to undulate like mercury, and a golden yellow braid stuck his head out from the inside. Finally gone. This mission really sucks. Deidara stepped out from the ground after confirming that no one was there, sighing deeply. "Really, I have to find an arm," Deidara said sullenly, looking at the empty arm. Just as he was about to leave, a deadly danger quietly emerged from behind. Deidara's whole body trembled, and then it was as if a time machine stopped and stood still. "Yo, vigilance is good." Behind him, a voice of Naoyu sounded. Deidara turned around mechanically, seeing Hanxing's face. Her face was extremely ugly. "Who are you? I remember that Konoha didn't send reinforcements like you?" There was a trembling in his voice that even he himself did not know. Terrible. Deidara felt that the person in front of him was just standing here calmly, but the faint chakra fluctuations emanating from him made his scalp tingle. Advertisement because he couldn't feel the depth of this chakra at all. It was like a bottomless pit, even more terrifying than the yellow-haired kid who just broke out Nine Tails mode. The breath is deep and the mountain is standing, and it is bottomless. Just standing there, Deidara feels a tightness in his chest, as if carrying a mountain on his back, walking with a heavy load. This kind of aura, this kind of fluctuation, even his former teacher 3rd Tsuchikage Onogi didn't have this kind of aura. The only one who can compare with the people in front of them is probably their leader, Zero. Konoha is really scary. He sent such a terrifying character in secret, Deidara thought to himself, and a cold sweat appeared on his forehead unknowingly. I wasn't Konoha's reinforcements. It just happened to be near the Land of Wind, and when I was going back to Konoha, I saw Kakashi and the others. Hanxing smiled lightly. That's right, this person is Hanxing who wants to return to Konoha after leaving the ancient country of Lulan. Who knows that he saw Naruto chasing Kakashi when he passed through the country of wind. I was a little surprised in my heart, but in a reasonable way. I thought to myself, it seems that the historical trajectory of everything has not changed. Shippuden has also begun. Since then, Hanxing has been secretly following Naruto and Kakashi. He remembers that in the original book, Deidara was a self-exploding clay clone, and the body quietly sneaked into the ground with Earth style and escaped. The development that followed was just like the original. After Naruto left, Deidara came out of the ground. Hanxing sighed, knowing that he should take action. Then, his figure moved and quietly appeared behind Deidara. This is what just happened. What he didn't expect was that Deidara's vigilance was so good. He was just standing behind him when Deidara found out, which surprised him. So you're just passing by. I happened to meet, and I came to help. Deidara showed a smile that was uglier than crying. That's right. Hanxing nodded. Give me death. Do you really think that this uncle will be captured without hesitation? Deidara did not know when white clay ants appeared on one hand, and threw them at Hanxing, laughing wildly. Chapter 211 Previous chapter Next chapter advertisement. Boom. Deidara felt her brain sink, her eyes began to slowly close, and her consciousness gradually fell into darkness. An indifferent voice came from behind him, too slow, too weak. He knew who this voice belonged to. It was the young man in front of him. When he raised his head hard, he found that the young man in front of him was still standing there calmly, but his clay spiders passed through the young man in front of him. Because of this, the figure of the boy became distorted. How, possibly, remnant, afterimage, but, evil. Deidara finished speaking intermittently, her eyes slowly closed, her face full of surprise and unwillingness. Boom. Deidara fell to the ground with her entire body. Really? A bunch of careless guys, I have to deal with it in the end. Hanxing complained, picked up Deidara, electromagnetically sensed Naruto's position, and disappeared in a flash. On the green grass, Naruto hugged Gaara's body and sobbed silently. Beside him Kakashi, the third squad member and little Sakura, Shio stood quietly, not far away. Sasori's body lay there in peace. Okay. Such a big person. Why are you crying? Just now, it's time for Laoshin to use that technique, so let's take it as compensation for Laoshin to implant the tailed beast into Gaara's body. At this moment, Shio walked away. He came over and said something that everyone didn't understand very well. Advertisement lay Gaara sideways on the ground, hands glittering with rich dark blue chakra. Mother-in-law. What are you doing? Is there any help for Gaara? Naruto wiped his tears and asked suspiciously. This is a unique forbidden technique developed by Laoshin. It is reincarnated, and the life force is fully transferred to others. As a price, Laoshin will die. Shio said with a smile, as if he had seen through everything and didn't care about life and death. What? Naruto and the others said in shock. The old man has a very short life. Using a man who is about to die of old age in exchange for the shadow who just took office in the village is a good deal. Boy. Your name is Vortex Naruto, right? But Gaara's friend? Yeah. Naruto nodded vigorously, me and Gaara are best friends. Then please put your hands here, the old chakra is not enough, Shio gasped. Almost without hesitation, Naruto put his hands on Gaara, and while Kakashi and others watched, they rescued Gaara together. With the addition of Naruto chakra, Shio's forbidden technique went on smoothly, and finally Gaara was brought back to life, while Shio died because of using the forbidden technique. When everyone was filled with a sad atmosphere, Hanxing appeared in front of everyone carrying Deidara. Yo, long time no see everyone. Hanxing? Why are you here? Was it the mother-in-law Tsunade who asked you to come to support? Naruto was stunned for a moment, then said happily. Well, how should I say it? I was near the land of wind, and I was on my way to Konoha, and I met you guys. By the way, I brought him back. Hanxing touched his chin and left Deidara on the ground. Now that Hanxing caught Deidara, he didn't kill him immediately, but brought it back. He felt that Hanxing should have his own plan. I'm afraid, Deidara is not as simple as the people in the Shao organization. Hanxing reluctantly held Kakashi on his back, waved his hands to Naruto and the others. Goodbye everyone. Kakashi-sensei and I are going back to Konoha first. See you Konoha. This is Kakashi, Might Guy and others changed their faces. Advertisement. It's not dead, it's his clay clone that died, and the real person has been hiding in the ground for a long time. Hanxing shook his head. Not hard. Hinata shook her head quickly. Hearing the sound, Hinata turned her head quickly. Seeing Hanxing coming back, with a hint of joy on her face, she quickly got up and ran to Hanxing, hugged Hanxing and said, "You're back." The afterimage is like blood, dyeing the sky red, like a cloud of fire. What? Let's go. Naruto whispered. After doing all this, Hanxing sensed the positions of Ino and Hinata, and found that Ino's electromagnetic wave was not in Konoha, only Hinata's. At the door of Konoha, Hanxing shows up here with Kakashi. After being Hanxing's teacher for a while, Kakashi has some understanding of Hanxing's character, smart, cautious, calm. The fourth Tsuchikage is the follow-up. That identity can be said to have gone sideways in Rock Shinobi Village. Kakashi can't understand why such a good identity. Why should he want to be a rebel and live a lonely and helpless life? Hey, wait, Kakashi said at this point. The two were warm for a while, and Hanxing asked, "Where's Ino? Why didn't I sense her position in Konoha? Did you go out?" "Yes." Hanxing nodded. "And Hinata is now in his home." Hanxing's face is overjoyed. The next moment, the whole person suddenly disappears in place and appears at the door of his own house. "Wait a minute, Naruto," Kakashi said, looking at Hanxing. "Does Hanxing have any special identity?" "Okay. I won't tell you. I'm going back to Konoha. Deidara is at your disposal." Hanxing's words were a little eager, and he couldn't wait to see the two girls Ino and Hinata. Advertisement pushing the door and entering, he saw Hinata kneeling on the floor with his legs, carefully holding the rag and wiping the floor. The high air cylinder was facing him. Saying that, regardless of the reactions of Naruto and the others, the footsteps jumped, and the whole person turned into a black streamer and disappeared in place. Special status. Hanxing thought for a moment and said, if he doesn't betray Rock Shinobi, the fourth Tsuchikage will be him. What's wrong? Is there anything else, Kakashi-sensei? Hanxing. Isn't he dead? Feeling the two big headlights on his body, the blood in Hanxing's body surged rapidly, and said softly, "Yeah, I'm back. It's been nearly a year. Thank you for your hard work." All right. At this time, Gaara, who was in a coma, gradually woke up. Little Sakura hurriedly used medical ninjutsu to treat Gaara. Then, several people rushed to Sand Shinobi Village with Gaara and Chio. Damn it. I'm going to kill him. Avenge Gaara and Granny Chio. Naruto took out the kunai from the ninja bag and was about to start. So his teacher is third Tsuchikage Onogi? Kakashi said again. What? I said hello to the two door gods, and took Kakashi directly to Konoha Hospital. As for the mission report, it will not be too late when Naruto and the others come back. Things are over here. Hurry up, take me back, Kakashi said weakly. It's him. Naruto yelled. Hanxing's words shocked Kakashi and the others again. Chapter 212 Previous chapter Next chapter Advertisement. It's very unfortunate that you came back. Ino just took a mission with Asuma yesterday, and Shikamaru and the others went to the mission. Hinata said with a smile in Hanxing's arms. A level? I didn't expect them to be able to take A-level missions. It seems that you have grown a lot during my absence, Hanxing sighed. Hanxing-kun. Have you eaten yet? Let me cook for you, Hinata said in a low voice, seeing that the sky was getting dark. No hurry. Hanxing smiled softly and whispered into Hinata's ear, I'll give you a ninjutsu before eating. After hearing this, Hinata's face suddenly turned into a ripe red apple, making people want to take a bite. The road is still the famous Mountain of Autumn. This time Hanxing drove a new car he just bought. 2 hours later, Hanxing turned off the engine and stopped. Today, the car has already driven to the limit, so he has to drive it again tomorrow. After putting it back in the garage, Hanxing turned around and went home. You have a good rest. I'll go cook for you, Hanxing said softly to Hinata after the two finished the car. Yeah. Hinata nodded shyly, her face full of contentment. When he nodded, it seemed to touch the wound he had just scratched, and Hinata's expression changed suddenly. Why don't I use medical ninjutsu to treat you? Hanxing looked worried. No. Hinata shook her head shyly, paused, and said in a small inaudible voice, This is a witness. I will wait for it to recover slowly. Okay. Then you have a good rest. I'm going to cook for you. Hanxing kissed Hinata's forehead, opened the window, and let out a breath. The smell of gasoline in the room was too great. Outside the window, a dark cloud completely covered the crescent moon in the sky. Advertisement. If it was before, Hanxing would definitely say that tomorrow will definitely not be a good weather. Now, go special. He was in a good mood, opened the fridge, hummed a song, and started making dinner for Hinata tonight. I sighed secretly in my heart. So many years of hard work have finally paid off. Years of wish. No, it should be the wish of all Hokage fans in the last world, and it has finally come true. An hour later, Hanxing came out of the kitchen with the simmering dabu soup, then poured a bowl for Hinata, and fed Hinata carefully and personally. Tonight, Hinata is racing in Chu Ming Mountain for the first time. I feel a little excited and consume a lot of energy, so I need to eat more to replenish energy. It wasn't until Hanxing was slowly cooked and eaten in one pot that Hanxing felt relieved, comforted Hinata a few words, and began to eat himself. After eating, I cleaned up and talked to Hinata again, and then the two fell asleep peacefully. That night was the only time he didn't use the training space to train since he came to the world of Hokage. The next day, early in the morning, when the first ray of sunlight shone on Hanxing's face through the window, Hanxing opened his eyes on time. Glancing at the sleeping Hinata, Hinata lightly printed on his face, got up to wash, and then cooked. After Hanxing had everything done, Hinata slowly opened his eyes. Looking at Hanxing in front of him, a sweet smile appeared on Hinata's face. Awake. Hanxing smiled softly. Advertisement? Let's eat then. I made the pork rib soup that you made good, and the 4 high balls. Hanxing said a lot of dishes, all of which Hinata likes. Hinata nodded again. Hanxing was hugged by a princess, picked up Hinata, walked to the living room, put it gently on the chair, and then, the two started the most warm breakfast. At dinner, Hanxing wanted to accompany Hinata at home, but Hinata threw Hanxing out and told him to report to Master Tsunade. As a last resort, saying goodbye to Hinata, Hanxing walked towards the Hokage building. Along the way, looking at the familiar streets of Konoha and the familiar crowd, a smile appeared on Hanxing's face. It's great to be back. But thinking of Kushina and the others, Hanxing's head hurts again. How to put them together, these are also troublesome. The journey was safe and sound. Hanxing came to the Hokage office, pushed the door and entered. Tsunade is still the same, and it seems that he has made this place his home. Seeing Hanxing, Tsunade's face flashed with surprise, and he said angrily, "You still know how to come back? It's been almost a year since you've been gone. There's not even a message. I thought something happened to you." After a pause, Tsunade came back to his senses and said again, "That's not right. I once sent Hinata and the others to the ancient country of Lulan. Why didn't they find you?" After sensing that there was no one around, Hanxing decided to tell the truth and said solemnly, "I don't know if you have heard a word about the dragon veins of the ancient country of Lulan. That is, when it riots, the violent energy tide can distort time and space and travel through it." Advertisement? What? You went back in time? Tsunade asked in shock. He carefully looked at Hanxing's clothes and eyes, and asked in disbelief, "Could it be that you are?" "That's right. It's me, Senju Han. That's why I told you to leave." Hanxing sighed and said that the black lightning flashed all over his body, filling the surroundings, as if he was wearing a layer of black lightning armor. These thunder and lightning flashed away, but the opposite Tsunade was shocked. Don't. Various expressions flashed in his eyes, some happy, some surprised, some excited. For a time, the entire Hokage office became silent, and it could be said that needles fell. After a long time, Tsunade came back to his senses, gritted his teeth and said, "It's actually you bastard, you still know how to come back, and you dare to appear in front of my mother." Tsunade appeared in front of Hanxing in an instant, lifted Hanxing's collar and lifted it up. Hanxing lifted Tsunade up high. That, I admit that I came back late. No, don't do it. Besides, it's not that I don't want to come back. Hanxing bit the bullet and said. Hanxing's words made Tsunade silent. Indeed, Hanxing can't be blamed for this. Hanxing was originally a person in this world, and he traveled through it because of the dragon's veins. Back to the Third World War. It is estimated that even he himself did not know that he would travel to the Third World War, and then had a series of relationships with her and Kushina. And Hanxing said more than 10 years at that time, probably because of the reason of returning to the future. It was only a moment for him, but for Tsunade and Kushina, it was more than 10 years. Chapter 213 Previous chapter Next chapter Advertisement. Thinking of this, Tsunade was relieved. Slowly put Hanxing down, he came back anyway, and everything was over. Then Tsunade said with a vicious expression, "If you disappear without a sound for my mother again, my mother will definitely make you look good." "Don't worry. Definitely not," Hanxing said with a smile. Saying that, he grabbed Tsunade in his arms. He feels like the scumbag in the novel now. Hinata is still raising himself at home. And now he is holding Tsunade, it's so. Right. Nothing else happened in the ninja world after I left, right? Hanxing said suddenly. There's a lot going on, what do you want to hear? Tell the most important things. Afterwards, Tsunade began to slowly explain to Hanxing what happened in the ninja world after he left. This lecture lasted for half a day, during which Shizune came once. Tsunade sent her out, saying that he was talking about something close with Hanxing. After listening to Tsunade's narration, Hanxing frowned slightly, and his heart relaxed a lot. In general, everything was similar to what happened in the original book. After he left, Namikaze Minato shined after 3 wars, and after 3 wars, Namikaze Minato successfully climbed to 4th Hokage, and then Sannin left. The only thing that has been added is the name of Hanxing, the god of ninja world. With the passing of these years, there is no news at all, and everyone thinks that Hanxing is dead. Advertisement and his reputation gradually weakened, and finally disappeared, causing many new generations to have forgotten Senjuhan and did not know the existence of this god of ninja world. Hanxing doesn't care about this at all, as long as it's still in the original work. Okay. It's alright to know you're back. Hurry back and stop by to see Kushina. Tsunade said in a low voice after changing his voice. Okay. I will pass this time, Hinata just. Hanxing sneered. Humph. It doesn't matter to you. Look at the mess you've made, and how to clean it up in the future. Kushina and I will forget it, after all, it's been so many years. But Hinata and Ino Tsunade snorted coldly. Then, I'll go first, Hanxing said, pushed open the door, and left in embarrassment. It was noon when I got home, and I found that Hinata had already prepared the meal, sitting on a chair like a virtuous wife, waiting for Hanxing to arrive. Alas! With a sigh, Hanxing pushed open the door and entered. Humph! I'm not a Hinata. I can drive after being coaxed twice. Kushina Tsunade snorted coldly. Seeing Hanxing's appearance, Kushina was a little happy. She pursed her lips and smiled. How do you want me to help? Such a large courtyard is a bit deserted, and there is basically no servant in sight. But, when I got here, Hanxing didn't have the courage to open the door. He heard Tsunade say that since Namikaze Minato and Reiko's death, Kushina has been here and never went out. 3rd Hokage supplies everything for food and drink. What? Don't you dare to see the old lady when you get here? Don't you want the old lady to go out and invite you in? Kushina's annoyed voice came from inside. After eating, cleaning up, and staying with Hinata for a while, Hanxing walked outside and sensed Kushina's position. Hanxing disappeared in a flash. Advertisement. You can come here. It means that you have come back from the past. Kushina poured a cup of tea for Hanxing and said flatly. Let's talk about it. Ino is still out on a mission and hasn't come back. I plan to tell them together when I come back. If Tsunade knew about it, he would definitely teach him a lesson about his lack of knowledge. Humph. You can't control this. You should think about what Tsunade said, how to explain it to Hinata and the others. After listening to Kushina's words, Hanxing had a headache again. This matter is really difficult to understand. After all, he is already old, and all policies are based on safety. Until he receives the confirmation of Senjuhan's death, he will never touch the people inside. Yes. As soon as I got back from there, I went back to Konoha. Since the destruction of Hanxing, Konoha has rebuilt the Senju clan's station, but because there are only a few people left in the Senju clan station, Yuan Fei Hiruzen directly reduced the Senju clan's station area to 1/10. That's it. Now, let's start the battle between the two of us. This time the old lady will definitely hit you. For more than 10 years, Kushina waited in this courtyard, like an old hater, and didn't go out, just waiting for him here, waiting for his return. All the good youth was wasted, so Hanxing guilt in my heart. After that, with Hanxing not showing up for more than 10 years, the scope of this 1/10 was reduced again, leaving only the courtyard in front of him. No. It will never be like this again. Hanxing touched Kushina's smooth and fair face and said softly. Kushina said, suddenly closed his eyes, walked to the sewer cage and said, 9 trumpets, my man is back. Go to sleep for a while. Advertisement. Hanxing walked while looking at the surrounding scenery, and after a while, appeared in front of Kushina's door.
Are you still going? Hanxing pushed in the door, looked at everything around him, and murmured, as expected of where first Hokage lives, that's it. This kind of text is not ordinary and difficult to write. After all, it is not an old driver. He has turned over the car many times. Write as little as possible in the future.
Cut. I'm too lazy to watch your human affairs. Yin Nine Tails groaned, and immediately closed his eyes and fell asleep. On a rugged and steep mountain, Hanxing and Kushina started a long battle for the position of Chu Ming mountain bike god. He knew that he had reduced the Senju clan's station. Hanxing would not kill him, at most he would punish him. The big deal was to return the Senju clan's station, but if he moved the people inside, he would not know how he would die. Looks like the 100 healings mark is done, Hanxing thought to himself. This courtyard is the only symbol of the Senju clan. Even if Yuan Fei Hiruzen wanted to take it back, he would not dare, because the Kushina lived in it. You? How did you know? Hanxing had a look of surprise on his face. When the speed reaches the ultimate, the air is filled with a strong and pungent gasoline smell, which is extremely unpleasant. The two drove all the way from the end of the mountain to the top of the mountain, and then drove down from the top of the mountain, back and forth, and so on. In a luxurious courtyard, the area is not small, at least 5 times larger than Hanxing's courtyard. I saw that Kushina's face was the same as 10 years ago, and there was no change. On the forehead, a diamond-shaped logo was engraved on it. Chapter 214 Previous chapter Next chapter Advertisement. It was almost dusk. Hanxing walked out of the Senju clan with a relaxed face, and went to the bathroom to take a bath to remove the excess gasoline smell from his body. When I got home, the sky was completely dark. Alas! The day is over like this. How fast? Hanxing groaned, but there was no dissatisfaction in his words. After the meal, I chatted with Hinata about some household things, and the two fell asleep peacefully. Time is like flowing water. A week of time passes quietly in the blink of an eye. This week is arguably the easiest he's had in years. It's okay to practice driving skills with the 3 girls of Hinata, drag racing in the famous Autumn Mountains, or go shopping with Hinata and others. Don't have a good time. The sun is shining, and thousands of silks are falling. Hanxing said something to Hinata and came to the Hokage office. Tsunade was still the same. Hanxing pushed in the door, straight to the point. I'm going to go to Miston Village. Where are you going? What? Missing your babysitter? Tsunade raised his eyebrows, a little jealous. Hanxing shook his head and pondered. I heard that the wild 3 Tails Isofu is near the village of Kirin. I plan to subdue it as a summoning beast. Didn't you already have Katsuyu as a summoning beast? Advertisement: Katsuyu has insufficient attack power and is not suitable for combat. Besides, Akatsuki, you know. These people are planning to collect tailed beasts, just in case. They can control the 3 tails into their own hands to rest assured. Is Itachi's organization? I heard that it is full of S-class rebels, and the strength is very terrifying. Jiraiya has learned a little bit of fringe information after various investigations. Tsunade looked serious. Besides, the voice changed. With your current strength, you don't seem to be very afraid of the Shao organization, right? I'm not very afraid, but I know the water in the organization is very deep. It's very deep. There is an old Yinbi who has lived for thousands of years, and a Madara ninja spokesperson Uchiha Obito, plus a Rinnegan Nagato. Can it be deep? Hanxing's strength, Tsunade, is very clear. It can be said that he is invincible in the ninja world, and he can say such words, which means that the Akatsuki organization is not generally strong and difficult. Then, you go. Remember to come back early, don't patronize your little babysitter, forget about business. If you can, let's go and see how Ino and the others' tasks are going. Since they received the task, there has been no news coming back. I have a bad feeling. Then, he took out a scroll from the side and handed it to Hanxing. This is their quest scroll. Take a look and make sure they are all right before you go to Wu Ninja Village. Okay. Hanxing nodded and opened it with a hint of surprise on his face. Send food to the great name of the land of the land? The daimyo of the land still needs our Konoha's food? Are you kidding me? Humph. You know what, we Konoha are the largest economy in the 5 countries. the land is fertile, and the food we grow is very popular among the big names of the countries. Although the land of the land also grows its own food, who makes it delicious for our country. Every year, the famous names from other countries buy back a lot of food from us. Tsunade said. His face was full of pride and pride. They should have arrived at Daming Mansion by now. Go and see what's going on. Advertisement. Got it. Hanxing's figure moved and disappeared in place. After Hanxing left, Tsunade's face became smug. Onogi. I hope you'll be tough then. Saying goodbye to Kushina and Hinata, Hanxing turned into a black streamer and disappeared in place. The land of the land, Daimyo Prefecture, is located not far from Rock Shinobi Village. It is for the convenience of Tsuchikage to discuss important matters, and it is also for the better protection of the name of Rock Shinobi Village. The land of Earth's Daming Mansion is not very big, and it is equivalent to the size of a town, but everything, everyone, things, and things here are dedicated to the service of the land's big name, and its economy is also extremely developed. In this town, samurai, ronin, army, and ninjas are the ones who come and go the most. Not only the daimyo of the land rarely see ninjas here, but also the daimyo of other countries. In his eyes, although the ninjas are powerful, they do not listen to them and will only be loyal to their own villages. They are not as good as the samurai and the army. Of course, for safety reasons, they will also hire ninjas as bodyguards. After all, there is no comparison between ninjas and samurai. The land of the land, the great house. In a deserted corner of the street, Hanxing's figure appeared here, looking at the bustling scene of people coming and going. He murmured, this lively scene can be comparable to Konoha. Shaking his head, he threw out the distracting thoughts in his mind, and electromagnetic induction instantly enveloped the entire land of the Daming Palace, sensing the location of Ino and others. Hanxing frowned slightly. He not only sensed the position of Ino and others here, but also sensed the magnetic field of Onogi. What is this old guy doing here? Forget it, I don't care about my business anyway. After Hanxing finished speaking, the figure disappeared in a flash. Advertisement in a slightly luxurious palace. Ino, Shikamaru, Choji and Asuma squatted here with ugly faces.
Shikamaru. Is there any good way? Do you really want Ino to marry the son of the daimyo of the land of the land? Asuma was smoking a cigarette, his face ashen. Originally, according to the task given by Master Tsunade, they came to transport food to the land of the land, and arrived here safely along the way, and successfully connected with the task transfer person, and completed the task.
After that, Asuma saw that Ino seemed to like the prosperity here, so he gave the three of them a day off as a repair. Ino took Shikamaru and Choji out to buy some special products of the land, saying that they were for Hinata, little Sakura and other good friends to eat. This visit is a big deal. Ino didn't know the rules of the Daming house. After the three of them bought things, they saw a familiar scene from the novel, that is, someone molested a girl who looked similar to them in public. As the little princess of the Yamanaka clan, the eldest sister who is full of justice, how could she just ignore it and beat the man directly? Shikamaru still wanted to persuade him, but before he could speak, the Ino was over. After this fight, something went wrong. The identity of the man was very complicated, and he was the only son of the daimyo of the land.
After that, with the idea of not wanting to go to war with the two countries, the three were taken away by the guards and locked in different cells.
What they didn't expect was that as soon as they reached the cell, the daimyo's son walked in with a proud look on the girl they were teasing. Then in front of Ino. After using it, he directly brutally killed the girl.
Then looked at Ino with a morbid look, with a trace of heat in his eyes. You will become the same person as her in the future, but you will not die. I will torture you severely.
Chapter 215 Previous chapter Next chapter Advertisement. As the little princess of the Yamanaka family, when did she see such a dark picture and go berserk? With the great strength inherited from Hanxing, these ordinary cells could not trap her at all, and the iron cell in front of her was smashed to pieces with one punch. The figure flashed, chakra filled his body, and he punched the daimyo's son in front of him. Daimyo's son was stunned by Ino's sudden burst of momentum, and his pants became wet unconsciously. At a critical moment, two rock shinobi who were hiding around shot and saved a daimyo's son. Unfortunately, Both of them are ordinary elite Jonin, and against Ino, who has 100 Healings Mark and Weichuan Fist, they are not opponents at all, and can only use Earth-style passive defense. What's more, there is a famous sun next to him, and defeat is only a matter of time.
At the same time, in their hearts, the two secretly greeted the 18th generation of their ancestors by the son of the daimyo. Are you such a fool? Usually you are just a girl in your own home, and now you are especially provoking Konoha. As an elite Jonin of Rock Shinobi, his knowledge is naturally extraordinary, and he can see at a glance what the diamond-shaped symbol on the forehead of the girl opposite is. That is a secret technique that only Tsunade can know, that is to say, that girl is a disciple of the 5th Hokage of Konoha Fire Kingdom.
The disciples of 5th Hokage were molested here, and they were also thrown into prison cells. If this is not good, Konoha and Rock Shinobi will go to war directly. This made the ninja world that has been stabilized for more than 10 years because of this fool. A war broke out next time. Boom. Boom. Advertisement Ino seems to have been enchanted, and his eyes are only the son of the daimyo of the land not far away, and he will not stop until he is killed. Seeing this, Shikamaru and Choji sighed. Let's go. We can't let Ino do it alone. Okay. Choji nodded. While speaking, the two smashed the cage in front of them directly. Stand in front of Ino. Today's Ino, when he gets angry, is pressing 2 Rock Shinobi's Jonin to fight, plus Shikamaru and Choji's addition. The look on his face can be imagined.
Earth-style Earth-shore return. An Earth ninja directly used his strongest Earth style and said to another ninja behind him, "Go and send the young master to the daimyo palace, and let me know about this incident by the way." Lord Tsuchikage.
By the time they finished talking, Ino and Asuma joined together and ran outside. Lord 3rd Tsuchikage. My name is Yuan Fei Asuma. I am the son of 3rd Hokage Yuan Fei Hiruzen. A war is a war. The land country's daimyo was very dissatisfied. Father. That girl must live, I will torture her severely, the son of the land country's daimyo said with a grim expression on his face. After all, it must be the Jonin carefully selected by Onogi who can become the guardian of the daimyo of the land. During this period, some troops also used arrows to shoot, but all of them were resisted by Choji's multiplication technique.
Sir Daimyo, if you really want to catch them, our land may go to war with Konoha. At that time, the 4th war of the ninja world may be the fuse because of this incident. The land, Jonin insisted, shaking his head. Advertisement coupled with the existence of Ino, a violent bulldozer. In just a moment, the three of them broke out of the cell and walked towards Asuma. Just as Shikamaru was fighting and trying to break the game, the sky was like a shooting star, and a figure appeared above them. After a while, the battle between several people was deadlocked, and Shikamaru secretly said bad. Haha. There's no one else who would be so arrogant to say something so arrogant. The name Jonin cursed inwardly. Therefore, they recognized at a glance that the person in the sky was Rock Shinobi's 3rd Tsuchikage Onogi. Humph. It's really a blessing for a ninja to be married by my son. In his eyes, the Chunins are just a group of powerful bodyguards. If there is a war, at most, he will spend some money and food to finish the job, and the rest has nothing to do with him. Someone. The whole city will arrest those 4 people for me. Konoha's people dared to scare my son like this. What if I'm scared stupid? Okay. It's up to you. The big name of the land looked doting on his face. How disgusting that look must be. The moment he left, the entire army of the Daming Mansion acted in an instant to encircle this place firmly. The movement of the 3 naturally attracted the attention of the big name in the land. After knowing that it was his son who caused the disaster, his face turned blue and white. Even so, Ino, after a lot of consumption, was very difficult to distinguish the winner with these 4 Jonin for a while, and the other 3 except Asuma, Shikamaru and Choji were at a disadvantage. Asuma and Shikamaru, Choji 3, 1 for each. Ino is the exclusive 4 elite Jonin. Do not fall behind. Advertisement. Be careful. These people are similar to the Guardian 12 ninjas of the Kingdom of Fire, and each of them has the strength of elite Jonin. Asuma took out the flying swallow and said with a serious expression.
The Earth Ninja Jonin next to him thought he heard it wrong when he heard the words of the land of the land. He loves his son so much. What kind of strange father and son are these?
The guards not far away are eyeing them, and this is the border of the land of the land. In addition, their number is not dominant, the time is right, and the three of them are not accounted for, it is only a matter of time to lose. Go and call Oyegi. Let him do it. We must not let them run away today. Daimyo of the land of the earth continued. Having said that, he picked up the scared young master of Daming and attacked the Daming mansion. I don't think you understand the cause of this matter very well. I think you'd better go and find out the cause in the end and then say this sentence. Seema revealed her identity and said with a solemn expression. But they just came out of the great city of the land of the earth, and 7 or 8 rock shinobi appeared in front of Asuma and others. These ordinary troops are naturally not the opponents of Ino and others. Although there are many people, they are a little stronger than the civilians, and they are not the opponents of the 3 of Ino. You don't have to worry about this matter. I am very familiar with the name of the country of fire, and I will tell him, by the way, to let him marry that girl to my son. The moment they saw that person, the expressions of Asuma, Shikamaru and the others changed greatly. As Konoha's wealthy family, although they have not seen the cage-level appearance of each country, there are still photos. You Konoha are really brave. How dare you do it in the land of our land, Daimyofu? What? Konoha wants to fight rock shinobi. I will personally tell Tsunade Haim about this. Onogi floated in the air, the face is livid. Ha ha. Who the hell is looking for trouble? Don't you have a clue? What kind of big name has what kind of shadow? Ino said without showing weakness, just a word. However, according to the daimyo's will, he had to use a secret method to transmit these messages and the meaning of the daimyo of the land to a third Tsuchikage. Understood. Another Earth Ninja said solemnly. Percent.
Chapter 216 Previous chapter Next chapter Advertisement.
The old man doesn't know shit. All this was told to him by Jonin from the land, but what can he do? To a certain extent, the name of the land is more powerful than his Tsuchikage, because the name of the land is more powerful than his Tsuchikage. Control the economic lifeline of Rock Shinobi Village.
Although Rock Shinobi Village has been self-sufficient over the years, enough to support itself, and even the trauma of the Third World War has already recovered, Onogi knows that compared to the daimyo, their Rock Shinobi Village's economy is still far behind. Once the war starts, the early stage is fine, but after a long time, you will have to ask the big name for money. In a word, the words of the daimyo, to a certain extent, he also had to listen to Onogi.
Onamu thought about this in a blink of an eye, and the feeling of grievance in his heart was even worse, so he had to pour his anger on Ino and the others.
Do you stop and stay in Daming City by yourself and wait for the Konoha messenger to come in a few days, or do you do it yourself? We'll go back to Daimyo City with you, Shikamaru said directly. Damn it, Ino clenched his fist and looked unwilling. After that, Ino and others were directly imprisoned in this palace. With the presence of Onogi, they couldn't escape at all. Then the Onogi mystery notified Tsunade of what happened here. In the past, Tsunade would definitely be furious, but now that he knows Hanxing's identity and Hanxing's character, if he knows that Ino has been wronged, then the famous city can be imagined. Hence the scene where Tsunade first let Hanxing go to the land of the earth. Tsunade knew all this, she just didn't say it. The purpose was to see what Hanxing would destroy to the land of Earth Daming City when he got there. Advertisement. Asuma-sensei. I have many ways, but as long as Onogi exists, we won't be able to escape. Shikamaru covered his head on the stool and smiled wryly. Alas. I hope Onogi informs Tsunade-sama, otherwise, I'll have to risk my life to break through. Asuma sighed first, then gritted his teeth firmly. Asuma-sensei, don't worry, things haven't gotten to the worst yet. Third Tsuchikage shouldn't lie to us, and we'll definitely tell Tsunade-sama. All we have to do now is wait. Shikamaru frowned. Damn it. Don't let the old lady go out, or you must hammer that bastard. Ino pouted and clenched his fists angrily. Ino. Asuma shook his head. Now that they have become prisoners, if they are heard by outsiders, they will definitely find a way to take revenge on Ino because of the character of the famous son Canthalgia. Humph. Teacher Asuma. I won't marry that bastard. I can't wait to kill him. Ino gritted his teeth, his voice extremely cold. Yo. Who provokes my Ino? So angry. A voice suddenly sounded in their ears. Asuma and the others looked up. Hanxing appeared in front of everyone with a smile on his face. Hanxing. Ino's eyes lit up and rushed towards Hanxing. Hanxing put his hands together, took Ino in his arms, and sniffed Ino's fragrance. When did you come back? Ino said happily in his arms. It's been a week, and I see you haven't come back for a long time, and there's no news yet. Master Tsunade asked me to come and have a look, Hanxing said softly. Humph. This is my daiming mansion. How dare we let our father and son make such a big appearance? I must teach Konoha's messenger a good lesson, Daiming's son said with a stern expression. He has heard about the relationship between Chiba Hanxing and Ino. If Jiraiya is okay, he will be middle-aged and stable in his work, but if it is Hanxing, he will be young, and he is his own woman. Alas. Third Tsuchikage sighed secretly. Advertisement. Brain. He secretly commented on this clamoring daimyo son. If Shikamaru knew about it, he would have said loudly, the guy who cares about sex over friends. Inform Hanxing of the cause and effect of the incident in every detail. Okay. Even a mere trash dares to bully my Ino. It's really courting death. Hanxing gave a grim smile. Ino. What the hell happened? At this moment, the momentum around Onogi loosened, and it was obviously the person from Konoha who took back his aura. Seeing this, Inomu also took back his aura, waiting for the arrival of the strong Konoha. The center of the palace is discussing something with the daimyo, and wants to ask for more resources from the daimyo. 4 years ago, Chiba Hanxing was able to destroy the entire route with his own power. 4 years later, with the momentum that just erupted, at least he was at the peak of Kage level. Hanxing listened carefully to the words of rescue in Ino's words, and his face became cold unconsciously. I said that the old thing, Oyegi, is here. It turns out to be taking care of Ino and the others. Quietly exudes his own momentum to block this sky-high momentum. The weak people or the army could not bear the sudden burst of Hanxing's momentum. As if they were only carrying a critical cauldron, they fell straight to the ground. And this momentum, centered on Hanxing, spread wildly around, covering the entire daiming city in the blink of an eye. Hearing Shikamaru finish speaking, Hanxing's face was so gloomy that water dripped. The two of them talked, and the 3 Shikamaru in the room were automatically forgotten. Of course, as soon as he finished speaking, he saw daimyo and the others falling straight to the ground. Advertisement, daimyo. Get ready. It should be Konoha's reinforcements or messengers arriving. I'm afraid the comers are not good. Onogi pondered. The bricks and tiles of the palace above were directly smashed by this momentum. He knew that this time, a very powerful person came from the daiming house, at least Kage level. If he guessed correctly, it should be Jiraiya from the Konoha faction. Even Hanxing complained in his heart. 3 unsightly light bulbs, what are you doing here? I don't know how to avoid it. A monstrous aura erupted from his body, rushing into the sky. That said, you didn't come to save us. Then you hurry up, before they find out. Hearing Hanxing's words, Ino became anxious. Suddenly under the pressure of Hanxing's outbreak, his face changed. Not good. There are experts, protect your name. Big trouble. Onogi had a headache. What's going on with third Tsuchikage? Why did Ben Daimyo become like this? I didn't even think about it. Konoha actually asked him to come here. Onogi's face became serious. He thought it was Jiraiya, but he didn't expect it. Chiba Hanxing. Sure enough, it didn't take long for him to see Konoha's crowd walking towards him, and the leader of the one he knew was Chiba Hanxing, who killed Danzo's entire roots a few years ago. Let me tell you, Shikamaru interjected this time. With Onogi's momentum and Hanxing's momentum, the daimyo father and son of the land have returned to their original state. Third Tsuchikage. What's going on? Why, this daimyo can't move. The Earth Kingdom daimyo said in horror. Chapter 217 Previous chapter Next chapter advertisement. He thought that he would tell Tsunade-ji about this matter and let Tsunade-ji send messengers to come here for peace talks. It's you? Who let you out? Da Ming's son looked at Ino with a flash of hotness and viciousness in his eyes, shouting loudly. Is this trash bullying you? Hanxing turned to Ino. That's right, it's him, Ino said, clenching his fists. Your Excellency is the messenger of the Konoha peace talk. It's too presumptuous. Don't put us in the slightest. The landlord daimyo came back to his senses and said coldly. I don't like the way you look at Ino. There's no need to exist, Hanxing said, disappearing abruptly in the eyes of everyone. Damn it. Onogi's face changed, and he was about to rush towards the daimyo's son. Before he could move, he heard a shrill cry from the daimyo's son. The two kunai were stuck in the eyes of the daimyo's son at some point, and he was rolling on the ground in pain. Father. My eyes hurt. My eyes hurt. Kill him for me. Kill him. The daimyo's son cried out in pain. You. The Land Kingdom's daimyo pointed at Hanxing, shivering with anger. Finally, he shouted directly, someone, kill him for me. Kill him. Third Tsuchikage, you too. Boy. You're going too far. In front of the old man, blinding the famous young master of the land is too ignorant of the old man. Oyemu floated in front of Hanxing, and said in a cold voice. Advertisement, I take you in my eyes. Sorry, you really don't take me in my eyes. Hanxing sneered disdainfully. After a pause, Hokage said fully, not only will I blind the young master of daiming, but I will destroy the entire daiming mansion later. Even your onogi is useless here, I said it. Junior. You are courting death. It seems that I am going to teach you a lesson for Tsunade-ji. Onogi was furious, with a mustache on his lips, no wind automatic. Teach me a lesson? Save you? Hanxing smiled dismissively. Crackle. Crackle. The right hand stretched forward, and the black thunder light could not be extinguished. Long time no see, I want to see how you taught me. Seeing this black lightning, Onogi's pupils shrank violently. This thunder and lightning impressed him a lot, especially when he fought Uchiha Madara. Even after more than 10 years have passed, his memory is still fresh in his heart, like yesterday. I am afraid that he will never forget it in this life. Black Thunderbolt. How is that possible? That person has disappeared in the ninja world for more than 10 years. There is no news of that person for more than 10 years, and that person has appeared in the ninja world more than 10 years ago, and now he is at least 30 years old. Onogi crazy thinking. No one has seen the face of that person before, and I'm afraid Tsunadeheim has seen it. If that's the case, then Tsunadeheim sent him here. Did he want to kill the chicken to warn the world and tell the world that he's back? That's not right. Why is this person so young? For a while, Oyemu's mind was a little messy. What is third Tsuchikage still doing? Hurry up. The Earth Kingdom daimyo said angrily. Shut up, old man. Onogi suddenly roared, causing daiming of the land of the earth to tremble. The ninjas of Rock Shinobi Village, without the order of the old man, no one is allowed to shoot. At this moment, Onogi suddenly ordered coldly. Advertisement. Turning his head and looking at Hanxing carefully, he thought to himself, the eyes are very similar, so is the black thunderbolt, he can feel the fatal danger from it. Thinking of what Hanxing just said, Onogi is even more puzzled. Is it really him? Are you really him? Onogi said, hesitantly. What do you think? Who dares to pretend to be me in this ninja world? Hanxing said indifferently, and then said coldly. You have two choices now. One is to stay here and stop me from destroying the daimyo palace. In return, the land will disappear from the entire ninja world. The second person who brought you out quickly, and go to Tsunadeheim to negotiate compensation. These two options, I will give you a minute to consider. After a minute, I think you choose the first one. You. Anomu pointed at Hanxing, first in shock, then his face turned purple with unknowingly a trace of panic in his eyes. He didn't expect that the person in front of him was really the one who disappeared in the ninja world for more than 10 years, and he was sure that Tsunade-ji sent Hanxing over to kill the chickens to warn the monkeys and announce his return. Thinking of this, the face is ugly again, and the gloomy can drip water. Is there no other choice? Do you think Rock Shinobi has a choice? Hanxing asked rhetorically. Oh, I promise you. Choose the second option. Oyemu gritted his teeth and sighed, adding another point to the old man. Sir Daimyo, I can't help you this time. I don't want Rock Shinobi Village to disappear from the ninja world. I don't want to be a sinner of Rock Shinobi. Onogi said plainly to Daimyo, the land of the land. He lowered his head, looked at the ninjas around him, and said, all the ninjas in Rock Shinobi Village will follow me back to their village. Onogi. What do you mean? The land country daimyo realized the seriousness of the matter, his expression restrained, and he asked seriously. Advertisement Onogi didn't say a word and left with the people from Sand Shinobi Village, treating them as transparent people. Seeing the powerful reinforcement of Oyemu, who was directly frightened away by the person in front of him, Da Ming of the Land of Earth had a hint of panic in his eyes, and said sternly. Your Excellency, I will give you a face on this matter, and that's it. I will not hold you accountable for blinding my son. Please leave the Daming mansion immediately. As a daimyo of the land, he understands the horror of ninjas very well, and those elusive assassination methods. His own army can't protect him at all. Even in a frontal battle, he can defeat 10, 100, and even 1,000. Fan Dao, who has separated from ordinary people, does not dare to let Inomu say a cruel word threatened by the people in front of him, which shows that the other party is very powerful, at least stronger than Onogi. He had the confidence just now because of the existence of Onogi, and now that Onogi has left, he is really a fool to shout. You give me face? Can you tell me, what kind of thing are you? What status? Dare to give me face? Hanxing smiled disdainfully. As he spoke, he waved his palm to the shoulder of the daimyo son, and the whole arm appeared out of thin air in midair. Ah! The shrill scream of the daimyo's son rang out. Lord Father killed him. Kill him. You, don't make an inch. Da Ming of the Land of the Earth stretched out his index finger, his face flushed. Don't really think that the daimyo dare not start a war with you. Hee. Hanxing sneered. Quickly seal with both hands, separate a few shadow clone, and leave with Ino and others. Chapter 218 Previous chapter Next chapter Advertisement. Without Ino and the others, Hanxing could play freely. With a movement, he appeared in front of the landlord daimyo, holding his neck with one hand and smiling slightly at the corner of his mouth. Do you know what your so-called daimyo is in my eyes? It's just a group of fattened pigs and sheep. Do you really think that no one in the ninja world dares to touch you? As he said that, he patted his face with his palm a few times, and suddenly, the face of the land country daimyo was extremely swollen. Boom! Hanxing separated out 2 more shadow clones, like a demon who came out of hell, pointed at the famous son next to him, and said coldly, chop him into meat sauce for me to feed the dog. After speaking, regardless of the terrified eyes of the big name, he said with great interest, your subordinates are loyal to you, but I didn't expect to organize and surround this place. But, what a pity. You never know who you are offending. Hanxing smiled evilly, let's go out, I will let you watch how your troops die. As he said that, he strangled the daimyo's neck and walked outside. Outside the palace, a warrior wearing armor, a neat lineup, and a sword on his waist stood there with a firm expression. They are like a steel city wall, and you can't see the end at a glance, and depending on the number of people, at least 4,000 or 5,000 people. In front of these people, at the head is a young man in silver armor. The gangster let go of our name, we let you go safely, otherwise don't blame us for being rude, the young man in silver armor shouted. Advertisement, General He Chuan. Hurry up to me. Hurry up and save me. The landlord's eyes lit up, as if he saw hope, his neck was red, and he shouted laboriously. Unfortunately, he used all his strength, but the sound that came out was very small. This is your last support. I'll let you see with your own eyes how your last support died in front of you. Hanxing's voice was cold, without a trace of emotion. He was like an indifferent killing machine. The other hand quickly formed a seal, the whole body chakra surging, the chest was bulging high, and he shouted, fire style. The fire is gone. A dark red arrow shot out from Hanxing's mouth. As soon as it appeared, the surrounding temperature rose sharply, and the space where it passed was distorted. It was like a meteor falling from the sky, with a long red color, galloping towards the daimyo army not far away. Kill! Shining Armor General's expression remained unchanged. He shouted, and he drew out his long sword and attacked Hanxing's red arrows. Wow! The moment he touched it, the red arrow with scorching heat suddenly turned into a huge sea of fire, surrounding the daimyo army. The color in the sea of fire is not ordinary light yellow, but deep red, like magma, and the hot temperature is several times higher than ordinary flames. For a while, there were screams inside. They wanted to go out, but at some point, 4 huge earth walls suddenly appeared outside. The earth walls were so hard that they couldn't be split open, and it didn't take long for them to be swallowed up by the red flames inside. How's it going? Isn't this a touching picture? It won't be long before your army of samurai is burnt to ashes, Hanxing said with a smile. This laughter was like the smile of a devil in the eyes of the land of Land Da Ming. You are a demon. A demon. The land nation's daimyo was about to collapse. As you like, you'll enjoy it later. Advertisement. While the two were talking, the sound of the samurai army who was trapped by the 4 walls gradually disappeared. Hanxing made a seal with one hand and lifted the surrounding earth wall ninjutsu. With the name of the land, go forward and see his troops with your own eyes. Inside was a scorched black color, and a scorched black corpse lay there, and some even smelled a hint of meat. These warriors can only be regarded as ordinary soldiers. They are little stronger than ordinary people. They don't even have chakra. They are not even a little bit different from the warriors of the Iron Country. Otherwise, Hanxing can't use a fire style to burn all these people to death. I really don't know what this big name thinks. It's better to spend so much money to raise so many wastes. It's better to follow Sand Shinobi's elite route and cultivate a few high-end combat powers. Looking at the land country daimyo who had completely turned into a fool, Hanxing didn't bother to toss him. He directly pinched his neck and twisted it hard, sending him to see Shinigami. At this moment, 2 shadow clone came out with a big plate with thick meat sauce on it. Hanxing didn't even look at it. He lifted shadow clone. His eyes narrowed slightly. Haha. What a surprise. I didn't expect that even the big name of the country of fire was also involved. In my memory, the clamor of the daimyo's son before his death suddenly appeared, saying that this marriage was approved by the daimyo of the land of fire. The great name of the country of fire. Don't worry, when I go back, the great name of the country of fire will perish, Hanxing said with a gloomy expression. Dare to offend your own woman, even if you are Uranus lousy Hanxing, you will kill him. Afterwards, Hanxing looted a lot here, and after scavenging all the belongings, turned around and left. As for the impact of what happened here, he didn't think about it at all. If someone really jumped out, he wouldn't mind sending those people to see Shinigami. In a forest on the border of the land. The 4 of Asuma waited anxiously here. Advertisement. Ino is even more anxious to walk back and forth, shaking Shikamaru's eyes. As a last resort, he opened his mouth and said, Ino, don't worry. Have you ever seen Hanxing fight an uncertain battle? I think if you care, you will be confused. Hanxing can scare 3rd Tsuchikage away in one sentence. Who else do you think is his opponent in the entire Daming City? He asked Shadow Clone to take us away, he just didn't want us to see him kill. Really, it's just murder. It's not that I haven't seen it before, I'm just a little angry. Why didn't he take me with him when he killed? The old lady's anger hasn't come out yet. Ino pouted in dissatisfaction. Shikamaru, Asuma, Choji, a big tic-tac-toe appeared on his forehead. I shouldn't have said that. Seriously, why did Hanxing teach her magic powers? Now it's a replica of Tsunade-sama when he was young. Shikamaru rolled his eyes weakly and complained. Yo! You guys are still waiting for me here. Hanxing suddenly appeared in front of Ino and said with a smile. Wow! Hanxing, you're back. Ino stuck to Hanxing like an octopus, and then said with some resentment. Why did you send me away just now? I haven't let out my anger yet, I haven't killed that person yet. Hanxing. When did Ino become so violent? Of course, I can't say these things. I combed Ino's messy hair, and said softly, if you think about it in the future, I will take you there. That's what you said. Ino's eyes flashed with excitement. Hey. Enough for you two. Do you need to meet like this? Shikamaru scratched his ears with a look of resentment. In the past, we were still young and ignorant, but now we have grown up, and we are still like this, when we don't exist. Chapter 219 Previous chapter Next chapter Advertisement. Hearing what Shikamaru said, Hanxing quickly put Ino down and said with a smile, "Yo, Shikamaru, Choji, and teacher Asuma, you haven't left yet. 3. Is our presence so low? Okay, don't need to say anything, I'll send Shadow Clone to send you off." Hanxing stretched out his hand, stopping Shikamaru who was about to speak, and said first. An hour later, several people looked at the familiar village in front of them, like a dream, even if they had seen Hanxing's speed, but every time they experienced it, they would be stunned by its speed. "Stay here stupidly, I'll take Ino to go first." Hanxing ignored the 3 people who had been stunned, and took Ino into Konoha. After spending 3 days at home with Ino and the 2 girls, Hanxing once again set foot on the road to go to Wu Nin village to subdue 3 Tails Isofu. 3 Tails, Isazuke, have been in a large body of water near Kirinen since Yagura was controlled by Obito and Terumi Mei took over. An hour later, Hanxing appeared here with his extraordinary perception. On the calm sea, the river water is so clear that you can clearly see the pebbles at the bottom nearby. Hanxing stood out of thin air, looking down at the bottom, only a huge black shadow could be seen faintly. 3 Tails, the shape is similar to a turtle, and the whole body is covered with thorns. The combat power can only be said to be ordinary among all tailed beasts. It may be ranked higher in the sea, but in general, it can only be regarded as good. If Hanxing couldn't find other suitable tails or lightning-style ninjas, Hanxing really didn't want 3 Tails to be summoning. Of course, compared to other summoning beasts, 3 Tails is still possible, at least in Hanxing's view. Using 3 Tails as summoning beasts is a bit stronger than Katsuyu. The premise is that Hanxing does not summoning the Katsuyu sage. If other people knew about Hanxing's idea, they would definitely drop their jaws in shock, and then go up and slap. Advertisement shouted out, "Go and pretend. Ordinary ninjas can sign a contract with the Shibone Forest, and they will definitely be thankful, thanks to Dade and Hanxing. I think this is too bad, and I want the tailed beast to be a summoning beast." "That's fine, it's still not satisfied, you are so awesome, why don't you go up to the sky and stand shoulder to shoulder with the sun, you're addicted to pretending." 3 Tails. I know you're at the bottom of the lake. My name is Chiba Hanxing, and I'm here to make you my summoning beast. Hanxing's voice envelops chakra and screams cold. The sound of rolling thunder, like Hongzhong Dalu, passed through the water in the lake and entered directly into the ears of 3 Tails. In the dark seabed, a lantern-like light poked out from the seabed. The calm lake surface is like boiling hot water, rolling violently. At the bottom of the lake, a huge figure turned from illusory to solid. Wow! There were waves on the lake, and 3 Tails floated up from the bottom of the lake, looking up at Hanxing. Roar! 3 Tails Isofu roared, and the scarlet mouth opened, and a waist-thick compressed water jet spurted out of 3 Tails' mouth. The powerful compressed water flow is like a galloping arrow when it runs towards Hanxing. It is not only strong in penetrating power, but also extremely powerful. It is no worse than the fire-style ninjutsu of the Uchiha clan, but it is not worse than the fire extinguishing. Facing the high-pressure water flow in front of him, Hanxing's face was flat, his body slightly sideways, dodging the attack of 3 Tails. Wow! Advertisement. The high-pressure water flow lost its target and ran towards the distance.
Roar, squeak, squeak, hum. Not only that, these ice arrows also have the characteristics of ice. As long as they are shot, they will be frozen immediately and become a frozen statue. It exploded in the distance, and the entire stream of water turned into a water curtain of brilliance, stayed in midair for a moment, and fell downward. "You underestimate me too much, today. You summoning beast is right and right." Hanxing smiled lightly. At the moment of its appearance, the surrounding temperature rose sharply, and the air was a little anxious. Is 3 Tails Isazuke's most powerful ultimate move except Tailed Beast Bomb? Become a summoning beast and a Jinchuriki, it knows which one to choose at a glance. Hanxing's words seemed to irritate 3 Tails, and he roared again, with unique beast eyes, his eyes widened, like a bright pearl.
Dispersing the chakra in his mouth, Three Tails said, "What the hell are you trying to do, kid?" As a tailed beast, it is very aware of human temperament. The surrounding temperature dropped sharply, and the ice crystals turned into a galloping arrow, rushing towards Hanxing above. The moment the white ice crystal arrows entered the sea of fire, they were melted into water droplets, and finally evaporated to form mist. The key is that what the boy on the other side said made it very emotional, a safe place to live. "Are you creating a beautiful landscape for me again?" Hanxing looked at the Three Tails below and smiled. After a moment of silence, he said, "Is what you said true?" Advertisement. The tailed beast is a factor of instability, and the tailed beast, Jinchuriki, don't I need to say more? Do you think that no one will find out if you stay here all the time? Looking at the scene above, the bright beast eyes of Three Tails flickered, and it seemed that he was a little uneasy in his heart. It knew that it had encountered a hard stubble. There is no closed beast mouth, the huge tailed beast chakra is condensed here. But the words of a young man in the distance, it does not know whether it is true or false, and cannot judge. The hands quickly formed the seal, the whole body chakra surged rapidly, the chest was bulging high, and he shouted loudly, "Fire-style extinction. I can say, as long as you become my summoning beast, I can make the decision and give you a stable living environment in Konoha. And you should know that what I want you to be is a summoning beast, not a Jinchuriki." "These two, there's a big difference," Hanxing said calmly. "The ice and fire meet, and the fog is filled. Its sharpness can easily shoot through steel, far beyond the comparison of ordinary swords. Although the tailed beast is special, it also has its own IQ, and you can judge the pros and cons by yourself. If the 5 great nations of the ninja world knew where they lived, they would definitely send people to arrest them, seal themselves in the human body again, become Jinchuriki, and live a dark day. Leaving a rainbow light, showing his existence, the area where Hanxing was located was instantly shrouded in smoke, forming a picture of a fairyland on earth. After Three Tails heard it, he closed the eyes of the beast and fell silent, as if he was thinking about the gains and losses. A huge sea of fire spewed out from Hanxing with scorching high temperature. The red sea of fire spreads across the sky, just like the fire clouds at dusk, so beautiful. These ice crystals are extremely hard, even harder than ordinary iron. I've been here since Yagura died, and I haven't harmed human beings, so why bother me? 2% Chapter 220 Previous chapter Next chapter advertisement. Of course. Hanxing nodded. With his current relationship with Tsunade, to put it bluntly, the whole Konoha is himself, so it shouldn't be too easy to give Three Tails a piece of territory. In the future, if Three Tails Isofu has lived in Konoha for a long time and is used to it, it will give Konoha a strong boost out of thin air. I hope you don't lie to me, otherwise I will never let you go. Three Tails Isofu gave Hanxing a deep look. Let's sign the summoning contract. Yes, Hanxing nodded. After a while, Hanxing's summoning contract was engraved on the body of Three Tails Isazuke. The process was not smooth, making Hanxing feel unreal. You wait here patiently for a few days, and when I return to Konoha, I will summoning you over. Okay. Three Tails Isofuke nodded. Right, in recent years, there has been an organization in the ninja world that collects tailed beasts. They wear a black-bottomed red cloud coat. Everyone's strength is very strong, and they have the strength of cage level. If you meet them, don't do it. Tell me with reverse summoning. As far as I know, they have collected several tailed beasts. Hanxing urged. Got it. Three Tails said in a low voice. Then see Konoha. Isofuji. Hanxing waved his hand, and just wanted to leave, when electromagnetic induction, a group of figures quickly attacked here. There were no less than 10 people, and Hanxing was very familiar with one of them. Why is she here? Did she come here to subdue Three Tails? It's really troublesome. Hanxing covered his head and murmured. Advertisement. Wait a minute. There are a lot of people coming here, Hanxing explained to Three Tails. Who is it? The people from the 5 great ninja villages. It's Hokage who leads the team, Hanxing said helplessly. What? How did they come? Did they find me? There was a hint of surprise in the eyes of Three Tails. Did you make any noise before? I had nothing to do, made a few waves, and called a few times. Three Tails said truthfully. Forget it. I have something to do with the fog shadow. This time, I should see that I won't take you back because of my face. This matter, you will stay here in peace for a few days in the future, and wait for me to summoning you. Let's talk about Konoha. Hanxing frowned and said flatly. While one person and one beast were talking, one after another figure appeared in front of Hanxing and Three Tails. They wear a forehead protector on their heads, and their faces are serious and solemn. Judging from the chakra that permeates their bodies, they are at least elite Jonin, and the leader is a man in a blue shirt, with emerald green eyes and long crossed hair. Beauty. The whole body is extremely mature, like an attractive peach, people can't help but want to pick it. This person is Terumi Mei, who I haven't seen for more than 10 years, the babysitter of Hanxing at the beginning, and now the Mizukage of the 5 ninja kingdoms, Mizukage village. Oh, I didn't expect someone to come first. Seeing Hanxing in front of him, Terumi Mei's scarlet lips put on a smile. What is Konoha doing in our country of water? Ow, wearing a mask, said solemnly. Is this their majestic Mizukage? Or the Mizukage who led them to overthrow the 4th Mizukage? Well, don't be so nervous, I didn't come here to trouble you, Hanxing said helplessly. I said, you little nanny, why don't you keep your head up? Hanxing said speechlessly. Advertisement. But when Terumi Mei heard these words, her green pupils shrank violently, causing a huge wave in her heart. When Terumi Mei and Tsunade met, he still remembered them, and the relationship was not so good. Could it be that the relationship between the two has improved over the years? Hanxing rubbed his chin and thought to himself. I have some friendship with you 5th Hokage Tsunade, as long as you lift the summoning technique on Three Tails, for Tsunade's sake, I will let you go safely. The sound was so loud that their ears were numb. Few people know about his quarrel with Tsunade, except for their 2 parties. There is another person who has been missing for so many years that she has been thinking about. The others also looked at Hanxing with vigilance, as if they would do it if they disagreed. Seeing Terumi Mei's appearance, Hanxing gave a wry smile. Well, this girl must be thinking wrong again. Hanxing was stunned for a moment, then carefully touched Terumi Mei's cheek, wiped away the tears from his eyes, and said softly. Tsunade Heime's big-breasted girl is really good. In order for you to successfully get Three Tails Isazuke, she even told you all about it. Ching was stunned by Terumi Mei's roar. What's the situation? I'm helping you. The surrounding Kirin, led by Ao, looked at each other as if they were dreaming. Fake. There must be something wrong with our eyes. Mizukage-sama. Let's do it. At this moment, Ching next to him suggested. Having said that, he couldn't hold it any longer, and threw himself directly into Hanxing's arms. Then what are you doing here? Ching asked loudly again. Advertisement. Terumi Mei's whole body froze when she heard this sentence. The expression on her face changed instantly, and the corners of her eyes filled with tears unconsciously. At this time, if she doesn't know who the person in front of her is, she doesn't deserve to be the Mizukage of the Land of Water. You have a relationship with Tsunade. Why didn't I know? I remember when the 2 of you met, you either quarreled. The strong smell of gunpowder can be smelled dozens of miles away. Hanxing was puzzled. But in the next scene, Ao or all the mist ninjas present stood there. How should I say it? I'm short of a powerful summoning beast, so I came here to get Three Tails as a summoning beast. Hanxing rubbed his chin. It also depends on the person. If it really doesn't work, I won't do it. Whoever they love will do it. However, I didn't expect you to be so young. Terumi Mei raised her cute nose and had a beautiful smile on her face. Seeing Terumi Mei's appearance, Hanxing sighed, stepped forward, stretched out his hand, and just wanted to wipe the tears from Terumi Mei's eyes. You're so old. Why are you still the same as before? You're a Mizukage. Be dignified and steady. Thinking of this, Terumi Mei's mature face suddenly changed, and her silver teeth clenched tightly. Before he could finish speaking, Terumi Mei turned her head and roared at him, "Go away." I saw that their always dignified mist ninja took a step forward, and the white tender cheeks actively rubbed towards the hand of the Konoha man, and even showed an unprecedented state of intimacy. What? Ching was about to speak in a hurry, but was interrupted by Terumi Mei. Seeing this, The other Karinos headed by Chojuro shrank their heads, and the furious Mizukage couldn't afford to offend him. But how did the person in front of him know? Could it be that bastard Tsunadeheim told it? The red lips were slightly spit, and a fragrance filled the air. Your Excellency. You know that the three tails are the unique-tailed beasts of our country of water, and they are the property of our country of water. Ao, who was next to him, opened his mouth and said loudly, "Stop it! How dare you be unreasonable to your Excellency Mizukage? That's how Konoha taught you." Chapter 221 Previous chapter Next chapter Advertisement. At this time, Xing, no matter how stupid, knew that the teenager in front of him knew their Mizukage, and they still had a very unusual relationship. Difficult. Could it be him? As one of the first old officials to follow Terumi Mei, Xing had heard about the deeds of his Mizukage. According to legend, his Mizukage had a lover before. That person was the new god of the ninja world, Senju Han, who was famous in the ninja world at that time. His appointment was worthy of the name. It is said that he defeated Uchiha Madara, who was at the same time as first Hokage, at the border between the two countries at that time. In the first 2 years after that, Senjuan's reputation was known to everyone in the ninja world. However, with the disappearance of these years, everyone gradually forgot about it, and now the new generation of ninjas have never heard of Senju Han's name. It is said that even the secret art of immortality cultivated by Mizukage-sama was given by Senju Han, as if it were an engagement gift. Looking at the heartfelt joy of Mizukage-sama, Shin finally confirmed her guess. This is the god of the ninja world who disappeared for many years, Senju Han. Only he can make the proud and dignified Mizukage look like a little woman. After confirming that the person in front of him was Senju Han, Ao's heart beat fast without knowing it, and a cold sweat appeared on his forehead. I cried out in my heart, "Oh my God! What kind of sin have I done? I even talked to Lord Han like this. Will he be pulled out and whipped the corpse?" Water. Mizukage-sama. Now the three tails have been taken by you. This is my husband Kun, Terumi Mei said heavily. Yes. Now three tails has been captured by your husband Kun, then, can we leave? Besides, with so many of us here, it's inconvenient for you to do anything. Xing tried to remedy that, trying to restore Hanxing's bad impression of himself. Advertisement. Yeah. That's right. You're here to give me a good look at three tails. It's just a punishment for being disrespectful to my husband Kun. Terumi Mei turned her head and spoke to Xing fiercely. Xing looked overjoyed, although on the surface Mizukage was punishing him. Xing knew that Mizukage was saving him. He quickly said, "Yes, Lord Mizukage, I will wait for your husband Kun to give summoning the three tails." Hanxing knew exactly what Terumi Mei was thinking about, pinched Terumi Mei's pretty nose, and said angrily, "Do you think your husband Kun is so impatient?" He. Then will you forgive me? Terumi Mei smiled mischievously, like a blooming peony, beautiful and moving. I'm not angry again, forgive me. Hanxing shook his head. Okay. Leave all of you. I will leave Kirin and my husband Kun for a few days, and leave everything in Kirin to you. Terumi Mei ordered suddenly. Yes. Mizukage-sama, said the surrounding Kirin Jonin. Got it. Mizukage-sama. Ao hurriedly expressed his loyalty. Husband. Take me home. Terumi Mei turned around, hugged Hanxing, and said softly. Terumi Mei lay in Hanxing's arms. A sweet smile appeared on the corner of her mouth, full of satisfaction. After seeing Hanxing disappear out of thin air, Xing's pupils shrank again. Although he already knew that the person in front of him was Senju Han, after seeing this speed, he still let him know. The fog behind him was terrified. From the beginning, the two of them refused to accept the other, and the speed soared to the fastest value. The changes here, don't even think about who made it. Hanxing came back here with Terumi Mei in his arms, looking at everything he was familiar with. Hanxing was a little puzzled and moved. Advertisement. A princess hugged Terumi Mei, and the two of them disappeared in place like a teleportation in a flash. There is a saying that there are few people on the famous Autumn Mountains, and there are often masters who are higher and lower. I can't wait to rub Hanxing directly into my bones. Hanxing and Terumi Mei spent a day in the surrounding towns and bought a lot of things. Terumi Mei's home, Hanxing, naturally knows where it is, and that is the ruins of the country of the vortex where they lived for more than half a year. In the 10 years since he left, the place where he lives is still the same as 10 years ago. There is no change, not even a trace of weeds. Back here tonight? No, whenever I miss you, I'll come here, and I'll get used to it after a long time. But, you won't be leaving in the future? Terumi Mei asked in a low voice, with a hint of green in her green eyes. Pitiful. While baking something, sticking to Hanxing. After more than 10 years of separation, no one can understand her current mood. You will find out later. Qing looked mysterious. The battle between the two car gods is fierce and earth-shattering. Driving from the end of the mountain to the top of the mountain, and back again, no less than 20 laps back and forth, and after 20 laps, Terumi Mei's fiasco ended. At this moment, she is no longer the supreme Mizukage in the land of water, but Hanxing's own babysitter. Without opening his eyes, he didn't even know how Hanxing disappeared. At this speed, if Senju Han really wanted to make a move, they didn't know how they died. Advertisement. You didn't notice how he disappeared. If you can really see how he disappeared, then I'd like to congratulate you, Qing said solemnly. It's just that more than 10 years have passed, and I don't know what happened to the Vortex Kingdom ruins. After a long time, Jonin, a mist ninja, asked suspiciously. Senior Qing. When did Mizukage-sama have a husband? Why is there no news at all? Also, at this speed, I didn't even notice how it disappeared. No. I'll be by your side in the future. Hanxing hugged Terumi Mei tightly and said softly. After that, everything will fall into place. Perhaps knowing that there was still business going on later, the two of them unanimously accelerated the speed of eating, and the original 2-hour mealtime was shortened to 1 hour. This night is destined to be a sleepless night. It is destined to be an exciting night. Thank you. I've worked so hard for you for the years I've been gone. Hanxing lowered his head, rubbed Terumi Mei's smooth cheeks, and said softly. After a while, he said, as for when Mr. Mizukage got married, don't worry about it. In short, with that adult here, no one dares to bully our one in village. That adult is the most solid backer of our Mizukage. When Qing said this, he looked proud. Senior Qing. Do you know that lord? Who is it? Chojiro's face was full of curiosity. Night. A crescent moon hangs on the dark sky, and the hazy moonlight sways, adding a bit of brightness to the earth. Vortex Kingdom ruins. 3% Chapter 222 Previous chapter Next chapter. Advertisement. Early the next morning, the golden crow gradually rose, and Hanxing woke up from his deep sleep. Looking at Terumi Mei with a sweet smile and a contented face in front of him, his heart was not touched for a while. Gently kissing Terumi Mei's forehead, Hanxing got up, put on his clothes, and started to make breakfast today. But as soon as he moved, he woke Terumi Mei, who was sleeping soundly. He opened his sleepy eyes, revealing a corner of his fair skin, and said softly, Husband, what are you going to do? What do you think? Cook for my little lazy pig. Hanxing squeezed Terumi Mei's delicate nose and smiled gently. It's still early, you're injured, I'll go make you some breakfast to replenish your body. Terumi Mei hugged Hanxing's arm, her fair and tender skin suddenly exposed to the air, and said coquettishly, No, I won't leave you for a minute. You go to a shadow clone to cook? No. That way you will be seen by shadow clone. Hanxing shook his head. Puff. Terumi Mei couldn't hold back when she heard the words of the Hanxing child and laughed. Husband. I didn't expect you to have a childish side and eat your own shadow clone vinegar. I'll hold you. Let's cook together, Hanxing pondered. It is good. Picking up Terumi Mei, Hanxing started to make a daily breakfast, but with the Terumi Mei pendant, this meal was extremely difficult. Looking at the burning flame, Hanxing sniffed the scent of Terumi Mei's body and said, You don't know my real name yet. The real name? Isn't it Senju Han? Terumi Mei's green eyes blinked, and it was so beautiful. No. My real name is Chiba Hanxing, also known as Senju Hanxing. Then Hanxing told Terumi Mei about his fateful trip to the Third World War. Advertisement. Terumi Mei listened to Hanxing's remarks, her whole body froze in place, her blushing pretty face was full of disbelief. After a while, Terumi Mei regained her senses. After all, She is the shadow of a country, and she has experienced a lot of wind and waves. Although Hanxing's words are bizarre, she believes that Hanxing will not lie to her. So, you haven't retreated and practiced for more than 10 years, but returned to the future from the past? Terumi Mei's index finger was on her lips, and she said a little naughty. Yes. So you have no other woman besides me? Have. At this moment Hanxing was like a pupil who made a mistake, answering truthfully. Who is there? Tsunade. With me it's 5. You're really okay, but, it's okay. Within my tolerance. At this time, Terumi Mei smiled, and there was no trace of sadness on her face. Hanxing wondered, aren't you angry? What's so angry about this? My husband is so good, it's normal to have a lot of people. At this moment, Hanxing was once again moved by this silly girl. Don't say anything. Only by riding Chu Mingshan once can Terumi Mei feel his deep love. For the next 3 days, Hanxing stayed with Terumi Mei. During the day, he wandered around the nearby towns, and at night, he went to Chu Ming Mountain to drive the car all night. At noon, when Hanxing was shopping with Terumi Mei, he felt a voice calling to him. Bang! The smoke is full. Advertisement. Go. Be careful. With my current strength, there are not many people in the entire ninja world that are better than me. Terumi Mei smiled, and carefully arranged the collar for Hanxing. And such a curse? Terumi Mei's eyes flashed with surprise. Hanxing frowned. This is? Katsuyu? What are you looking for me for? Is it Tsunade? What? Jiraiya went to Rain Shinobi Village. When was it removed? Hanxing was surprised. Katsuyu said, and disappeared in a puff of smoke. A small Katsuyu appeared in front of Hanxing. My summoning beast, Katsuyu, is calling me. Tsunade must have something to do with me. Terumi Mei, who was always paying attention to Hanxing's expression, saw the change on Hanxing's face and said, Husband, did something happen? After Hanxing left, Terumi Mei's face changed instantly. Tsunade, you are a big-breasted girl. Do you think my mother would give you the position of the eldest sister's head so easily? Does she have anything else to say? Humph. It's that big-breasted girl again. It must be seeing you and me together. I don't like it, and I want you to go back to Konoha. Terumi Mei's face changed instantly, and a sullen aura quietly condensed. Is it bad for Tsunade to win? Why is his expression so serious? Terumi Mei was puzzled. Tsunade is known as the big fat sheep in the ninja world, that is, she will lose every gamble. If she wins, it means that his relatives or friends will die. You can think of this as a strange curse. He has already told Tsunade that the water of Shao's organization is very deep. Why did he send Jiraiya to Rain Shinobi Village? In the original book, Jiraiya died in Rain Shinobi Village and was killed by pain, which is a pain point in the hearts of all fans. Lord Hanxing. Long time no see, Katsuyu said respectfully. Okay. Listen to my husband. Terumi Mei changed again, smiling sweetly. The little woman was full of looks, not like a Mizukage at all. Looks like half a month ago. Katsuyu mused. Advertisement. It is good. Remember to report to me well when you come back. Terumi Mei like this. Let Hanxing know again why a woman's face changes rapidly. That's right. Hanxing nodded and said to Terumi Mei, Sorry, I can't accompany you. I'm going to Rain Shinobi Village. Maybe you have to go back by yourself. I see. Go back and tell Tsunade. I'll go to Rain Shinobi Village, Hanxing said calmly. Pushing away the hair on Terumi Mei's forehead, Hanxing lightly stamped it, and the next moment, the whole person disappeared in place. After Terumi Mei finished speaking, her whole body turned into a blue streamer, rushing frantically towards the land of water. Okay. Don't be so prejudiced against Tsunade. Let's see what Katsuyu has to do with me. Hanxing patted Terumi Mei's hair. Tsunade-sama called Shikaku-sama to speculate, and guessed that Jiraiya-sama was in trouble. I want you to go to Rain Shinobi Village. Win money? Hanxing's face suddenly became solemn. She decided to make a good mission to the country of fire and wrestle with the big-breasted girl Tsunade, and let her know who the position of the big sister's head is. Good. Goodbye, Hanxing-sama. The two came to a dark corner. Hanxing bit his index finger, made a mark on his hands, and snorted. Summoning technique. You wait for the old lady, thinking that if you hide in Konoha, the old lady will be afraid of you. Just this morning, Tsunade-sama snuck into the casino and won a lot of money. Katsuyu. What's the matter with me? 3% Chapter 223. Previous chapter. Next chapter. Advertisement. The Land of Rain is located on the border of the three kingdoms of earth, fire, and wind. It is a small country. Although the country is small, the level of danger in it can be said to be the highest in the ninja world. During World War II, there was even a famous man, the demigod Hanzo of the Salamander. Now that Hanzo was killed, this place was occupied by the Akatsuki organization and became its old nest. Hanxing is in the country of Vortex, and if he wants to reach the country of Rain, he has to traverse more than half of the country of Fire, and travel at full speed, at least 20 minutes. But, I don't know if Jiraiya can hold on for these 20 minutes. At this time, in the Land of Rain, Jiraiya was eating meatballs in front of a shop, chatting with the villagers of the Land of Rain, and wanted to inquire about favorable information. But he didn't know that at the moment he entered the country of Rain, in a dark room, Nagato, the leader of Rinnegan's Akatsuki organization, Xiao Nan, had discovered the existence of Jiraiya. There are intruders. Nagato opened his mouth coldly. Who? This chakra is a bit familiar. It should be Teacher Jiraiya. It's him? A hint of surprise flashed in Xiao Nan's eyes. Let's go. Go out to meet the teacher we haven't seen for a long time. Tiandao Nagato said and rushed towards the place where he felt Jiraiya, followed by the other 5 figures behind him. Their faces were pale and expressionless, like cold corpses. To be precise, these were corpses, but Nagato was only able to move freely by inserting an iron rod. In addition to the Nagato in the front, there are exactly 6 people, corresponding to the 6 abilities of Rinnegan, namely Heaven, Ashura, Human, Animal, Hell and Hungry Kido. Each has powerful abilities. Jiraiya, who was talking, felt the movement behind her. Her figure quickly disappeared in place, and came to an unmanned alley with many sewer pipes.
At the moment he landed, 6 people behind him appeared in front of Jiraiya with different shapes, and the leader was Tiandao Nagato.
Advertisement. Up in the air, Xiao Nan had a white wing behind her back, floating in midair like an angel, looking at Jiraiya with a complex expression on her face. You are Xiao Nan. And Yahiko. How can you have those eyes? Where is Nagato? Where is Nagato? Jiraiya said in shock. Mr. Jiraiya. Why are you here? Xiao Nan said with a complicated expression. So it is. It seems that you are the leaders behind the Xiao organization. Jiraiya looked at the clothes of the 2 and suddenly realized. He said with emotion, I didn't expect it. I have been tracking down the leaders behind the Xiao organization, and it turned out to be you. Why did you embark on a road of no return? The road of no return. This world is full of pain. I just want to use my own method to make this world a beautiful world without any disputes, and everyone can understand, Tiandao Nagato said with a cold face. Why do you collect tailed beasts? What's your purpose? No comment. Nagato said flatly. The right hand stretched forward, and a huge suction force erupted from Nagato's hand. Jiraiya's face was startled, and the whole person was involuntarily pulled by this powerful suction, and flew towards Nagato, the heavenly way. In midair, Conan's white wings suddenly separated countless white papers, like feathers dropped by an angel, turning into galloping paper arrows, flying towards Jiraiya below. Boom! The moment the white paper above touched Jiraiya, Jiraiya turned into a white mist out of thin air and disappeared. Clone technique. Tiandao Nagato murmured. Fire style, big fire bullet. Suddenly, Jiraiya appeared behind a pane. This pane was a beast, and spit out a powerful, extremely hot giant great fireball from his mouth. But at the moment of his appearance, the other 5 pane have long loved to notice his existence, and know everything through visual sharing. Just when the hot fireball was about to attack the animal realm, the figure of Hungry Kido suddenly appeared in front of the Jiraiya fireball. Click. Advertisement. Shura Road pulled his arm out, revealing the dense missiles inside. Aim at Jiraiya. Missiles were shot quickly towards Jiraiya not far away. Boom. Boom. The dense explosion of artillery shells sounded here. In the dark corner, Jiraiya looked dignified, bit his fingers, quickly formed seals on his hands, and shouted, "Summoning technique." This hellhound is extremely difficult to deal with, immune to death, and it will split. If you want it to disappear, you can only let the beasts lift the spell. At this time, one after another shells attacked Jiraiya again. The most disgusting summoning beast in Hokage, bar none. Jiraiya can only dodge calmly. A strange bird with an unusually sharp beak like an arrow stabbed at Jiraiya with its sharp beak. Todian's shield moves forward. Suddenly a bird chirped in the sky. For a time, Toad Jien, who just appeared, got the most brutal beating in the society. The huge roar is endless. Toad Jien, I'll ask you to defend against their attacks later, I'm going to enter Sage Mode. Jiraiya folded her hands together with a serious expression. A purple toad with a steel fork in one hand and a shield in the other appeared under Jiraiya. Toad Jien was shocked by the huge impact of the strange bird, and he took 2 or 3 steps backwards. Boom. Advertisement boom. As soon as the voice fell, the iron-billed monster in midair struck again. Jiraiya narrowed his eyes, stepped on his feet, and immediately avoided the explosion range of these shells. Boom. A dull sound. Damn it, muttered. Jiraiya jumped with both feet, dodging the attack of the giant bird. At the same time, a rain of arrows moderate as cannonballs also hit. Suddenly, a violent suction hit again, and Jiraiya used the body replacement technique without hesitation. Whoosh whoosh. This toad is Toad Jien of the 3 Toad brothers. He is good at defense. He always likes to say that he is clumsy, but he is not clumsy at all. A Cerberus with 3 heads was summoned by a beast. Suddenly, his figure suddenly disappeared from 6 paths Pain's eyes. Body replacement technique? When? Tendo Nagato murmured. A small pothole suddenly appeared on the ground. The beak of the giant bird is nothing at all. Moments later, Jiraiya was covered in scars. Gah. After all, it's 6 in a dozen, and I don't know Pain's 6 paths ability. In addition, there is a Conan eyeing in the air, and Jiraiya's strength is already strong even if he doesn't die. Okay. Summoning technique. 3% Chapter 224 Previous chapter. Next chapter advertisement with the addition of Cerberus, Jiraiya, who was already at a disadvantage, was even worse. It didn't take long for Toad to get rid of scars on his fitness, even worse than Jiraiya. However, Toad Jien is Mount Myoboku's best defensive toad, and despite his scars, he persisted until Jiraiya used Sage Mode. Jiraiya's Sage Mode is an incomplete Sage Mode, and the whole body has the characteristics of this toad. After letting Todian return to the seedlings to cultivate, he will summoning out 2 petite old toads wearing gray cloaks. These 2 toads are the heads of the entire Mount Myoboku except Toad Sage, the parents of Toad Wentai, Fukasaku and Shima immortals. These 2 toads are extremely tyrannical and coexist with nature. They have practiced Shanshu for 800 years and are not old. Jiraiya's Sage Mode is also completed under their guidance. It is not an exaggeration to call him Jiraiya Shanshu teacher. With the help of these 2 immortals, and Jiraiya himself entering Sage Mode, the 3 Sage Modes are extremely powerful. In just a moment, Jiraiya has dealt with 3 Pain, but because of this, they are also seriously injured by 1 person and 2 beasts. After he just solved the 4th Pain with some difficulty, a scene that shocked the 3 of Jiraiya, Shima, and Fukasaku appeared. How is that possible? X3 1 man and 2 beasts exclaimed at the same time. Because, in front of them, except for the 1 pen who fell under his feet, the other 5 stood there expressionlessly, looking at them plainly, as if they were watching 3 juggling clowns. Then, those 3, didn't we defeat them just now? Why did they recover in a blink of an eye? Immortal Jima said in horror. I'm afraid this is another ability of Rinnegan, it's really scary, Immortal Fukasaku said solemnly. Turning his head, he looked at Jiraiya and said seriously, Little Jiraiya, let's get ready to evacuate. After the consumption just now, the chakra in our body is running out. Yeah, before leaving, seal up this corpse, take it back, and give it to Tsunade, Jiraiya replied in a low voice. Advertisement having said that, he took out a seal scroll and sealed the corpse in front of him. The other Pain seemed to see the purpose of Jiraiya, and they were not watching the play. 5 figures rushed towards Jiraiya and them one after another. The corners of Jiraiya's mouth twitched. Her heart was secretly happy. Her hands quickly formed a seal, her mouth bulged high, and she shouted, "Sage Art Gomon." Hum. The 3 huge ninjutsu of the fire oil wind fused together, the surrounding temperature rose sharply, and the body around Jiraiya burst into mist. A powerful, wide-ranging sea of lava fire erupted from the mouths of the 3 of them, directly wrapping all the 5 figures on the opposite side, as if they were about to turn into gluttonous gluttons and devour them all. The scorching high temperature directly devoured the wet ground, revealing a scorched, even cracked ground. Hum. Hungry Kido stretched out his hands and quickly absorbed the lava fire in front of him. Jiraiya took this opportunity to seal the animal's body into the scroll, and then ran outside without looking back. At the moment when he escaped, the paper-like shuriken that was as sharp as a sword fell in the air toward the 3 of Jiraiya. Jiraiya didn't even look at the paper shuriken in the sky. Isshin ran towards the outside of Rain Shinobi Village. While running, dodged the paper attack of Conan in the sky, which greatly affects his speed. It didn't take long before 5 other 6 paths pain caught up. To make matters worse, after such a fight, Jiraiya's Sage mode has also reached its limit and turned into an ordinary person. Oops. Jiraiya looked ugly. Shima and Fukasaku Immortal both sank when they saw this. Advertisement in the face of 5 unpredictable pain, plus there is one who can fly in midair. If you are not careful today, you will stay here. Mr. Jiraiya. It seems that everything is coming to an end. Tiandao Pain walked out from the inside, and spoke expressionlessly. Saying that, he raised his right hand high, universal pull. Not good. Jiraiya's complexion changed drastically, and his figure flashed sideways, trying to avoid the traction of Tiandao Pain. But now he is full of scars and a series of battles, his body, energy. Not at the peak. Pain's 6 paths plus the ability to share vision, can clearly see the direction of Jiraiya's avoidance. Therefore, at the moment he avoided, Tiandao Pain's universal pull also changed direction. A huge suction force erupted from Tiandao Pain's hand, like a call in the abyss. The terrifying suction force made Jiraiya involuntarily fly backwards in the direction of Tiandao Pain and others. Oops. Jiraiya's face changed drastically. Before he could react, his neck was already caught by Tiandao Pain. Goodbye, Teacher Jiraiya, Tiandao Pain said expressionlessly. Little Jiraiya. Shima and Fukasaku shouted worriedly on their shoulders. The other hand stretched forward, and a black iron rod appeared quietly and stabbed Jiraiya's heart fiercely. Boom. A burst of smoke filled the air, and the 2 toads, Jiraiya and Shima Fukasaku in front of them, disappeared instantly. It's this trick again. Pain's face instantly turned gloomy.
In one direction, the bearer rolled chakra and said loudly, "You can't escape." Advertisement. In the dark and damp alley, Jiraiya's chest heaved up and down, and her figure quickly ran into the distance. He looked calm. 2 immortals, if I can't get out today, please hand over that seal scroll to Konoha. You can rest assured, little Jiraiya. We will definitely be able to run out. Immortal Fukasaku comforted. But they have no end in their hearts. After living for so many years, they can see the situation in front of them very clearly. They are now in Rain Shinobi Village, and they have 6 paths pain with the strange power of immortal eyes behind them. There is also a radar that detects them in midair, and the chances of successfully escaping are very slim. Jiraiya is also aware of the words of immortal Fukasaku, so he doesn't take it to heart at all. Whoosh whoosh. Suddenly, a figure appeared in front of Jiraiya, followed by 2 figures behind him. Mr. Jiraiya. You can't escape, Tiandao Pain in front of him said again. Jiraiya turned around and found that behind her, 2 figures of pain were standing there quietly. Jiraiya smiled bitterly. She was surrounded. With a serious expression, he said, Jima Immortal, Shenzo Immortal, please. Little Jiraiya. Immortal Jima and Immortal Fukasaku had tears in the corners of their eyes, unable to bear it in their hearts. With their knowledge of Jiraiya, they naturally understand what Jiraiya is going to do. Yo. What's the situation? A big parting of life and death.
3% Chapter 225 Previous chapter Next chapter advertisement. Yo! What's the situation? A big parting of life and death. Suddenly, a mocking voice sounded around. A figure appeared beside Jiraiya at an unknown time. Six Paths Pain and Jiraiya and others turned their attention to the figure at the same time. Yes, it's you. What are you doing here? Jiraiya's face changed, and she recognized the person in front of her at a glance. Then he looked worried and shouted, "Go! Go! These people are not for you." "Are you? Chiba Hanxing? Chiba Hanxing who captured Deidara and killed Kakuzu and Hidan? Now a disciple of the 5th Hokage Tsunade Heim in the Land of Fire?" Tendo Pain said. "Yes. I didn't expect your organization to know my intelligence quite well," Hanxing smiled lightly. When Immortal Fukasaku wanted to ask Jiraiya who the person in front of him was, he didn't expect Tiandao Pain to answer for Jiraiya. After knowing that it was Konoha's reinforcements, Immortal Fukasaku breathed a sigh of relief, and said solemnly, "Son, coming here with your support alone is a death sentence. Jiraiya and I will hold them back later. You find a time to escape." "Want to leave now? It's too late. As Akatsuki's leader, I just happened to avenge Hidan and the others," Tiandao Pain said coldly. After finishing speaking, the other two Pain beside him calmly appeared around Hanxing and surrounded him faintly. Advertisement. "Hey," I said, "don't you look down on me too much, Nagato? Just two people surrounded me?" "You know me?" Tiandao Pain was a little puzzled, and it makes sense for Jiraiya to know him. After all, Jiraiya is their teacher. But how does the young man in front of him know that he is still calling his body, and he doesn't remember how to communicate with the young man in front of him? The Pen 6 paths are the puppets made by Rinnegan. They are divided into Heavenly Path and Ashura Path. I only see the 5 of you here. It seems that the other path was sealed by Jiraiya. Also, if I'm not mistaken, your body should be on that tall tower, right? Hanxing pointed to the largest and tallest lighthouse in Rain Shinobi Village, his voice calm. Hanxing's words made Tiandao Pain's face, who had always maintained the ancient well, show a shocked expression, and a pair of Rinnegans stared at Hanxing with a trace of fear in his eyes. "How did you know?" The ability of Pen's 6 paths is the biggest secret in his heart. Except for Conan, no one knows about it at all, and even his body has been hidden in the dark. This is the first time I meet the boy in front of me, but he directly points out his 6 paths ability. Could it be that Conan betrayed him? This idea was thrown out of Nagato's mind instantly. Over the years, Conan has basically been with him, inseparable, either with his body or with his 6 paths puppet. There is no possibility of telling that. The question is, how did Chiba Hanxing know his secret? No matter what, this kid knows his secret, so he must stay here today. Nagato secretly made up his mind. Seeing the change in the expression on Pain's face, Hanxing showed a smile at the corner of his mouth, and said with interest, "Do you want me to tell you something else? For example, the purpose of Xiao's organization to collect tailed beasts?" "You even know this?" Tiandao Pain was shocked again. Advertisement, but in just a moment, it returned to its original state. Since Hanxing even knew his biggest secret, it was nothing to know about this matter. After all, many people in the Xiao organization knew about this matter.
What are they doing with the tailed beasts? At this moment, Jiraiya couldn't help but speak out, with a resentment that he didn't even notice himself. The purpose of his coming here is to test the strength of the leader of the Xiao organization, and by the way to ask what the Xiao organization does to collect the tailed beasts. Unexpectedly, he was fighting so hard that he was about to lose his life now, but the information he gained was instantly revealed by Hanxing.
Jiraiya has no doubts that what Hanxing said is false, because what Hanxing said is exactly the same information he tested against 6 paths Pain just now, and some of them are even clearer than his information. If Hanxing knew earlier, what was he doing in Rain Shinobi Village? Ignoring Jiraiya's resentful eyes, Hanxing looked at Tiandao Pain and pondered. "How do you say it?" Xiao organized the collection of tailed beasts to make a powerful weapon that can instantly destroy a large town and kill thousands of people in an instant. The great pain made him feel fear, which suppressed the war and ushered in peace. Of course, this peace was short-lived. Decades later, the pain gradually disappeared, people began to hate it again, and finally war broke out. At that time, this weapon was used again, making people feel pain, and the world ushered in peace. This cycle, guide peace in pain, guide the world. Hanxing's bland words left Jiraiya and the two immortals stunned. What kind of real peace is this? It is clearly to use powerful weapons to terrorize the world, so as to achieve world peace. Is this kind of twisted peace really the students he taught before? How did it become so strange? Nagato. What the hell happened? Make you guys have such absurd thoughts? Jiraiya couldn't help but lose his voice. Tiandao Pain directly ignored Jiraiya's words. Rinnegan stared at Hanxing, and said word by word, "How did you know our plan? Still so clear? Who are you?" Advertisement before Hanxing could answer, Tiandao Pain said again, "Forget it, I don't need to know who you are. As long as you stay here forever today, that's fine." At this moment, Tiandao Pain's killing intent on Hanxing has reached the ultimate level, and even Jiraiya next to him is far less than that. In the next instant, he slowly stretched out his palm and aimed it at Hanxing. An invisible impact slammed out in all directions, with an earth-shattering might. Shen Luo Tianzheng. Boom. The earth collapsed under its feet to form a huge pothole, and it continued to extend all around. The invisible impact brought the power to destroy everything, causing the surrounding rain to slam back into the sky, irresistible. Oops. Jiraiya's expression changed, and he yelled, "Hanxing, run away, this is not something you can handle." Saying that, Jiraiya's hair instantly turned into a long white whip and rolled up towards Hanxing. Who knows that Hanxing dodged Jiraiya's hair in a flash, and said in a flat tone, "Jiraiya, you should stand there and watch carefully. Since Tsunade dares to send me here, she has a reason." Next, Hanxing's performance made Jiraiya and the two immortals froze in place. I saw Hanxing stretched out his palm unhurriedly in the face of the monstrous shockwave. Make a fist and swing it.